Devcast and chill, you know it. How do you guys feel about mocktails? How do you feel about mixed drinks that are just kind of for flavor and not for getting lit up? I'm on the fence. Normally I don't go in for mocktails, okay? I especially don't go in for expensive mocktails. But then I realized today, in preparation for the stream, I did two things. One thing I never do, and one thing that I rarely do. Okay? I never drink Red Bull, but I got one yesterday from the grocery store to help me stay awake today for the devcast. So I had a Red Bull about an hour ago. Never do that, right? Love the taste of it. Love the taste of Red Bull. And then the other thing that I got that I don't normally do, but certainly a little more often than drinking Red Bull, is I get Pocari Sweat, okay? An Asian, like Gatorade sports drink, okay? And I go one part Pocari Sweat, okay? Like so. And then I also get some lime carbonated water. And I mix these things together. Pocari Sweat's got like kind of a vague citrus. It's got its own flavor. I don't know how to describe a Pocari Sweat. How do you describe the flavor of this stuff? It's weird. I like it, okay? So I mix, and this is a mocktail. How is this not a mocktail, right? Oh, it is maximum refreshing, guys. It's Clippy, I miss Clippy. Bubbly TV static water. Hello, wait a second. Wait a second. 2 in 1 day? Come here, you fat tabby. Come here, you. Come on. Somebody called her a fat tabby today. Somebody called her a fat tabby. Do I smell weird? Oh, do I smell? How are you, baby? How are you? A Burgess. A Burgess. How are you, baby? Oh, yeah. Look at her Gundam ears, right? Your adoring subjects are here to worship you. Burgess. Your adoring subjects are here to worship you. You have no idea what's going on. You have no idea how popular you are. You have no idea, little one. She doesn't like when I laugh in her face. She wanted to say hi. Okay. Thank you very much. Ay. A perfect, precious angel. Dudes, look at the little setup here. It's not ideal, but it's not bad. Okay? We got the stream. We have enough, I think. Maybe we can work on the sizing here a little bit better. Work on the sizing a little bit better. This is more for top notes later. Oh, Gonzo, 19 months. Holy crow. Dang, brother. Dang. Thank you very much. Gonzo, you're such a nice guy. Gonzo's been around forever, dudes. 19 months, that's wild. I have to start thinking about what's going to happen in 2 years. It's a lot of months. That's a lot of months. It makes me feel some kind of way that, the passage of time is strange, is it not? Very strange. Thank you, Gonzo, for hanging out, buddy. What kind of STF are we drawing this time? I'm not sure. We'll have to see what kind we get. I think this is okay. I've got a little spot for notes here. Okay? We can see the stream. We'll be able to hear the stream. And then we can also easily see the bingo and keep track of that. I think this is good. Right? This is kind of more of a podcast thing anyways, right? It's not a highly visual. I'll make it bigger for when we see Paul, if we see Paul. Look, we made some additions to the bingo squares, okay? We have live stream technical issue, okay? We've got workshops are work in progress. If they try to kind of hand wave, if they talk about the workshops not exactly being what they want them to be currently. 6-hour devcast delay incoming. Haha, don't even joke about that. Don't even joke. Paul face reveal. Has beard? I imagine, like, whether or not he has a beard or not, if he shows his face, okay? Paul face reveal. We'll see. We'll see. Has beard? obligatory court case update, right? Because of course, it's a good way to fill 20 minutes, so you don't actually have to share other content. What's the last one, dudes? We have so many good ones. Space map is real, okay? Space map is real. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure all the meme questions are going to be about the space map. Are they going to take questions? Ooh, how about that one? How about that one? Raw question from audience. Grayson just shared a reminder in the dad Discord. So we should be good. That's probably not good on your end to hear, okay? I'm trying to be empathetic, but from my end, it's fun to do that. It's fun to do that. There was one of the devcasts of yesteryear, right? It was the one where Terrence and SDF, they kind of like, was it the Odin one? I think it was the second. Did Odin do 2 or just 1? It might have been the first one. Anyway, Odin was hosting it, Grayson was there, and Terrence and SDF did like 45 minutes, and we're like, yeah, well, we gotta go eat, or we have to go. And they left. And Odin was like, ugh. I think I made it, I included it, cuts of it, in a video for a roast. Yeah. And Grayson, when they said that we had to leave, Grayson had this laugh that was it was completely out of place. Necro posting. Pocari Sweat is popular Japanese non-carbonated, mild-tasting sports drink with a light, refreshing, citrus grapefruit flavor. Is that what this tastes like? Hey, you know what? Okay. It's kind of like, it tastes like grapefruit if you left a grapefruit up on your dashboard of the car when you parked your car to go to the gym. If you drove to the gym and you put a grapefruit on your dashboard and then you left your car kind of in the sun, right? And the grapefruit got really warm and you came back after the gym and you're like, you know, tired from having worked your body, right? And you decided to eat the grapefruit. That's kind of what, if you then re-chilled, if you took that grapefruit and then put it in the fridge overnight and then ate it, that's kind of what this tastes like. But anyway, this is a mocktail, guys. It's a mocktail. I mix Pocari Sweat with the lime carbonated water, and I really like it. It's delicious. That sounds disgusting, not tasty. Well, I mean, Pocari Sweat is that's kind of what it tastes like. I'll take the dungeon rat instead, if you can get your hands on it. Slippery little buggers. Did you guys see the troll post? Go look at general chat. I almost lost my character because I was traipsing through the woods. I can't. Grapefruit is so bitter. How does anyone eat it? That's a good question. Oh, God. Gonzo, what's going on, buddy? What's going on? Holy F, Gonzo. Crashy Mesh. Frogs McGraw. Some of these names. Thank you very much. Good sir. Darkadian. I like that name. Who are these people? Shield Wolf. I like that name. Shield Wolf? Guys, how could you not? Winter's Scar. I think I recognize that name. Dang. Eternal Entropy. Man, it blows my mind. Everyone's a person, right? Lots of randoms, it seems. Hello, hey, brother, you never know. You know what, like, how do I say? A lot of people lurk, you know? A lot of people, you know, are familiar with the video content. People lurk on streams, and they're happy to receive, you know? We were all randoms at some point, it's true. Welcome in, newbies. Oh, thanks, Maddie. Hi, Lily. Welcome back in. Appreciate it very much, Gonzo, indeed. Guys, can we get a clap for Clippy too? It is nice to see Clippy, isn't it? Clippy is busy with work. Clippy's got a lot on Clippy's plate, but Clippy was also excited for the devcast, so let's show some love for Clippy baby, for baby Clippy. Remember Baby Clippy? Remember Baby Clippy? What's up, Seth? Good to see you. Oh, Luke Nay's still here. Still awake. NAP, what's going on? Claps for Clippy the baby. Baby Clippy. It was so cute. It's kind of like how I feel. Grapefruit, you say? Yeah, weird. There's nothing on the label that suggests grapefruit. Right? Nothing on the label. Unless this is Korean. I got it from a Korean grocery store. So, you know, maybe that says it's grapefruit, you dummy. And I'm just like, 안녕하세요. 안녕. Anyway. Bit of nostalgia for me. It's a Japanese drink. It's a Japanese sports drink. Had a lot of it. Had a lot of it there. Did I miss anything? Do we want to veto any of this stuff? Guys, what do you think? One more spin through the bingo, okay? Before it just all of a sudden it's happening. Oh, there it is. I regret nothing. Guys, check it out. Check out Clippy's video. shout out Clippy's video from Clippy. Yeah, dudes, check. I'm gonna pin it. I'm pinning this for a moment or two. Check out the pinned message. Okay. Like and subscribe. Thank you. The toast was so fun. Aw, do not pin it. Too late. It won't be long. It won't be long. It won't be long. Dudes, encouraging Season 8 metrics. It's true. And they deserve a pat on the back because they've made good choices and they've seen a material improvement of their metrics. Okay? So if they mention that, we get a bingo square. This is the perfect time for a dev team to show more purchasable cosmetics, right? It would be a missed opportunity if they didn't show more weapon cosmetic skins. I'm expecting it. Okay? They seem to like make excuses for a lot of design choices about the game itself because they say our maps are small. Our maps are small, so we need doors. Our maps are small, so that's the reason why the exits worked the way they did for so long. Our maps are small, ... therefore, right? What's up, Crook? Eat $12 each weapon cosmetic is wild. Hey, I am disinterested, okay? As a person who is happy playing regular man fighter, right? Human man fighter, right? I am impervious, right? I think if they had a better game that attracted more new players, they wouldn't need to sell cosmetics because they would sell copies of the game. That's just me, okay? I am but a man. If they make mention of the maps being small, that's a square. I hope they understand that there's still kind of a lingering issue with impact power and impact resistance, especially as it relates to the riposte mechanic. If they talk about impact power, impact resistance, that's a square. Live stream technical issue? I hope not, for their sake, right? As someone who is responsible on this end of the broadcasting relationship, I do not wish for them to have technical issues, but also, it's your first time, so it's likely, therefore it's a square, okay? Also, since the weapons glow, it's pay to lose. It's pay for material disadvantage. I agree. Not the size that matters, is what you do with it. Had to. Ay. Workshops are a work in progress. Has anyone sunk any money into this? I did foolishly. I got my weapon workshop up to like level 4. And I kind of regret spending like the 60k gold that it took. It took a lot of money to get it up there. I got my weapon to perps. Yeah. It's been a rough day. Hang in there, Lily. You're in the right spot. You're in the right spot. Anyway, if they talk about how the workshops are still kind of a work in progress, that's a square. It's a lot. I'm not sure it's worth it. Reminds me of the old cockatrice, right? The cockatrice quest back, like, I don't know, forget when it was, a couple of half seasons ago, a couple of semi-wipes ago. You would give the cockatrice like unique treasure, like the weirdest shopping list of all these ultra rare treasure pieces. You finally got the cockatrice max level. And what did the cockatrice get for you? Give to you? 2 blue rubies a week, right? 2 blue rubies a week. Not worth it. That's kind of how I feel about the workshops. We'll see if they talk about it. I don't even know what workshop is. Uh-huh. Don't worry, you're not missing much. Going over... Uh-oh. Oh, Paul! Hey! Several major announcements. They're going to talk about marketing. You know what? Maybe we don't have any marketing. We don't have any marketing related things here. You know what? I don't care about the court case. I don't care about this. I'm going to say overview, overviews, marketing, strategy. That's a little late game sneak here. I have a feeling, but let's stay on this column. Reveal of new artifacts. Again, you've got the player base, the people that are interested, the diehards. They're looking at your stream. First ever corporate broadcast. Ideal time to say, hey, by the way, check out this friggin' awesome, unique club artifact, right? Maybe another dagger artifact. Chris Dagger or Rondell? You know, who knows? Another artifact. Make sure you save the file. Thank you, Clippy. Isn't it nice to have Clippy? Isn't it nice? Also questions because they're taking them. True Workshop is just a gold dump without SSF. With SSF, it's kind of fire. Sure. Yeah. Smart Clippy. Any kind of indication that SDF is jealous of Paul. I feel like Paul is getting a lot of, like, there's a honeymoon phase, right? People are feeling good. Dismiss the pinned. Dismiss the pinned. Unpin message. Thank you, Clippy. If SDF, if there's any sort of... You have to help me. We have to keep our eyes peeled, okay? Very... It'll be tough to spot, but if there's any sort of indication that SDF is jealous of Paul, that's a square. Monk class details. Not that I think they should be spending any time on a new class when there's still a bunch of existing classes to kind of tune up. That's a square. We didn't plan for success. This was kind of talked about in SDF's kitchen. They were saying that they were going to be happy with 3,000 players. They didn't expect, you know, the game to take off in popularity, etc., etc. It's another excuse for why things aren't that good. Spaghetti code. You know what? I was gonna do this. Uh-oh. Spaghetti. How do you spell spaghetti? Spaghetti. Did I get it? Spag. Het-tea. Spag. Het-tea. I got it right. Spaghetti code rules everything around me. Okay? Scream. Scream. The reason why there's ESP lag. Spaghetti code. The reason why there's no good quivers. Spaghetti code. The reason why there's no guild hall. Spaghetti code. Right? Paul is an interesting anomaly. He has the scapegoat for positive views and people have latched on for dear life. He's the scapegoat for positive views. Hey, you know what? People love the game. People want the game to succeed. And... You know, that's... Whatever gives people a breath of fresh air. And Paul is that thing. So we take it. We didn't plan for success. They didn't... And this is the reason why a lot of things are rushed. Why a lot of things are ill-considered. Okay? If they say that, it's a square. Gathering hall delays. This one saddens me. I want nothing more than to jump around the rafters of our own tavern with you guys in the game. But we can't. Okay? To talk about the delays there, that's a square. Space map is real. I guarantee the first chance that the community itself gets to ask a question, it's just like, is there going to be a space map? Right? We must go back to Valheim for that. Yes. That'll come again. Valheim will come again. That was so much fun. It was too much fun. Maybe it'll be kind of like a summer thing that we do. How much fun would that be? It's kind of like a Valheim summer. You know what I mean? I got really soupy sitting in my chair. I have distinct memories of like late July nights where I'd been like sitting in my chair for like 10 hours, right? Summer Valheim server. So good. I wonder if they will expand the lava map first. Valheim summer camp. Let's go. Summer camp. Awkward Grayson left. I'm not going to do it again. I've done it. I've taken advantage. I'm not going to do it again. But if he laughs awkwardly, It's a square. Okay. Paul face reveal. Has beard for extra points. Overviews marketing strategy. I bet you they'll talk about it. I bet you they will. Hi, Fart. How are you? It's a game about positioning. This was kind of Terrence's, like, Terrence said this a lot in the last call with One Peg. It's a game about positioning. You know, our game is about, you know, well, when it comes to our game is kind of like it's positioning. It's a game about like in Dad, you see, so our game, it's about positioning, right? Positioning and fireballs at 2-tap. Lamau. Is there anyone interviewing? Or are they just answering Q&A? I have no idea. We have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if there's going to be an MC, right? I don't know how they're going to, you know, go from question to question. We'll find out. If they acknowledge the solo lobby experience, I don't expect this, but I would like them. I would like them to acknowledge that solos is a game mode that exists and that a lot of people, this is the only mode they play. I feel like solos historically has not been on the radar for their consideration. And so this is it's kind of a troll because I don't think they're going to talk about this, but I want them to. So I'm trying to kind of manifest destiny here, right? In all respect, I hope it's not One Peg. You and the rest of the internet, Fart. Anyone seen the new Nexon game? Naquan. Yeah, I have seen it. It looks okay. It seemed like a car alarm simulator. It was just car alarm after car alarm. And that for me, I'll wait. I'm gonna wait. Also a lot of crashing. I saw Soapy playing it today for a bit and his game kept crashing and I was like, I'm glad I'm not streaming that right now. Lamau, the One Peg comment. From Fart, you mean? Hope it's not One Peg? Yeah. We'll keep an eye on this one. It looks like it's predominantly a melee game. We'll see. It ran fine. It seemed to look decent for an alpha. It's also like only a 5-day playtest. And so, you know, we'll wait until there's a more extended look. Water map hell, right? I'm not sure. I know they had a plan for the tiers of the water map, right? Aquan is a multiplayer zombie survival game. Naquan? Set in urban South Korea. The map did look very impressive, right? 2-peg. Red peg, blue peg. Strange would do a great devcast, to be honest. He's very active in the community. He is active. I feel like So Bad Strange is so deeply fluent in the game that he's like disconnected from the experience of most players, right? The problem with being in a position that Strange is like he probably has like more exposure than almost anybody else. You'd be hard pressed to point to another person that has more time in the game than he does. And that can actually work against you in a lot of ways, right? The questions, the things that he's worried about, the way he sees the game is absolutely not how most people see the game. And these events, the game itself should not be designed or curated for people in his position. Strange. Too much time, right? I want them to acknowledge that the water map sucks. So good, typical. He sees through the matrix and sees raw code. Yeah. And it's just him playing like shit and other players playing like shit. And then he says, play like shit and die like shit, right? Water map. There's like the Pirate Cove, right? Which is the top level. I know they have multiple levels planned. I forget what the names of those are. The hot tub. Ew. And there's a pube that floats by, right? If they talk about this or they reveal another level of the water map, maybe the level down will be fine. It'll be like a normal map. I don't know. Probably not, because it'd be underwater. It'd be like all underwater. That would be terrible. That's basically a space map, right? That's basically a space map. We're talking about how the hell in the water map is actually a hot tub that you can't escape. And there's just random different colors of pubes. So you know the pubes are from different people, right? Lynn hot tub stream one. I'm in one right now. I'm in. You don't need to wait. We're there, right? We're there. I'm Pokari sweating my ass off, right? In a little hot tub. Ooh. The grapefruit, right? On the dash of your car. That was from earlier in the stream. It's my hot tub. Rogue and Ranger updates. We know there will be perk and skill adjustments, additions coming later this wipe. Maybe they'll preview them. Maybe they'll just acknowledge that this is coming, right? I would hate for this to be delayed. That's a square. Almost there. If they in any way acknowledge that barbarians are dumb, that the class is not balanced, that some of the skills or perks are too strong, if the barbarian stats are too good, if the barbarian has all three things of the Holy Triangle, DPS, move speed, and tank ability, if they acknowledge that it's mostly dumb people IRL that choose to play barbarian, some kind of acknowledgement that the culture of barbarian or the class of barbarian is dumb. I would love that. That would make my day. I'll literally jump for joy if they do that, right? If they talk about the cleric or wizard update, maybe there's a preview. I know that Rogue and Ranger is this wipe, but I hope that after Rogue and Ranger, it's cleric wizard. Wizard in particular, I mean, both of these classes could really benefit, and I think they should do this before monk. So maybe they'll talk about this? I wonder. We'll find out. Plans for future melee. Maybe this is like, I don't know. I want to hear their thoughts on where melee's at and where it could be. Or again, this could be kind of like an example of we didn't plan for success and spaghetti code rules everything around me, right? Like the melee system is the way it is because they were just rushed and they have a more nuanced vision of what they want melee to be. If that's the case and they talk about it, that's a square. What else? If they acknowledge a melee stamina system, either in the positive or the negative, if they either affirm that they are considering the addition of a melee stamina system, or they say, you know what, we're not interested in a melee stamina system. I want to hear them acknowledge that. It's been a minute since we tuned back into this aspect of melee, because as it stands, right, that Bardiche can swing on you and miss, right? Can swing and miss. I can swing an arming sword and miss. It costs me nothing, right? Except for maybe I'm vulnerable. But for a DPS class, there's no downside to just stabbing with your stiletto, right? Just stabbing with the stiletto as many times as you want. No stamina. Makes the game, I don't know, feel basic. And it's not helpful, I don't think. But who knows? Who knows? They've said in the past they don't like the idea of stamina. They also said in the past, I like the circle, right? I like the circle. They also said in the past, Druid is fine, right? We're not going to change Druid. And what happened? The game fucking died, right? And they're like, okay, maybe we actually need to make some changes. So I appreciate it, Zio, but I think that things they've said in the past, everything is on the table because SDF knows, right? SDF knows. He cocked it up. He cocked it up. We also know that many players were still skeptical because of the decisions we've made in the past, or more accurately, the decisions I've made, right? I've made. So he's letting go. He's letting somebody else make the choices, make the decisions, and who knows? Who knows what that means for some actual meaningful revolution or iteration of the very basic melee combat system that exists, right? And of that, I want to hear about stamina. And then, if they are brave enough to follow in the footsteps of Legacy Steel and Sorcery, right, of Notorious, the developers at Notorious did 28 Meet the Devs community broadcasts where they had a Discord stage and they would take questions from us, the players, from the audience, and all you had to do was put your hand up. Oh, mama. If they take a question from the audience, then that's a square, right? Oh. Oh. cares if he's scrawny? I'm scrawny. Doesn't make a difference. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're there, guys. I have this on my primary Spotify playlist. Yeah. Okay, we're set up, dudes. Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable? Spaghetti code rules everything around me. Does that specifically mean something live from chat? My understanding was they were reading questions from the Discord. If they answer a question on the fly, it's some kind of raw question. We can use our discretion if and when the time comes. Back just in time. Okay. They could be doing this for like another 15 minutes, right? They could just play this song on loop. We'll see. Let's have another sip of the old mocktail, shall we? One last thing to say. I'm going to be talking over them. We're going to be making jokes. I'm going to be laughing. At times, I will be mean. If you want pure news, go to this Twitch channel. Don't watch this stream. If you want to hear what they're saying, or you want an uninterrupted view of what's going on, this is not the place for you. This is a place for jokes and cynicism. Okay, we're in flippancy. We're going to be disrespectful at times. You're not going to hear what's going on at times. Probably. If you don't want that experience, if you want a full focus and lock in on what they're saying, if you want the news from the horse's mouth, go to this Twitch channel. Don't stay here. A roast, you could say. They're live on their YouTube channel as well. Go there. Go there. If you don't want to hear the sound of my voice competing with Paul's beautiful face, right? Criticism, extremely welcome. Love a good discussion. I aspire for it to be discussion worthy. Okay, I'll try to keep it semi-nice. I'm amazed they actually made it this. They how do I say? They really relied on external streamer relationships for a long time, right? Semi-nice. Semi-nice. The YouTube might have no ads if required. Ah, interesting. Okay, if we get burned with an ad, I will keep that link on standby, Clippy. It's, you know what? I kind of like, I want to see if we hit an ad, because it's a good reminder to everyone here. The reason why we stream on YouTube is because ads are so annoying, right? But you don't realize or remember necessarily how annoying they are until, again, you're face to face with it. I have Twitch Prime. Does that mean you get no ads? That means you can subscribe to one person, right? Turbo is different than Prime. Yeah. I have ad blocker. No ads. Uh-huh. I think it's a good reminder. YouTube Premium is where it's at. I pay for two. I pay for 2 YouTube Premiums. It's that's how much I strongly believe in it. Do you guys think? I think that every month Twitch loses more ground to YouTube. And every month YouTube gets a little bit bigger. And I feel like YouTube is Twitch has got some specific conveniences for the live stream experience as a viewer, a few extra features, but Twitch absolutely sucks for discoverability. Twitch sucks for kind of VOD, like, preservation. You can't scrub the live VOD, right? Amazon keeps Twitch alive. Uh-huh. It costs thousands an hour to stream for the big streamers. Twitch, for me, is politics takes. Yeah, I mean, you can find that on YouTube too, right? There's no shortage of politics on YouTube. Anyway, it's funny how 2021, 2022, like so many things that were kind of like that work from home, kind of like late stage pandemic tech boom, right? Twitch was like riding the crest of that wave. And then like that wave receded, you know? And Twitch has been kind of like, I watch Kick for gambling, ugh, and YouTube for my gaming, uh-huh. Yee. Anyway, Twitch. I used to like Twitch too. It felt like there really was like there was a gold rush, wasn't there? You're not a fan of Kick, brother? No, not really. No. I mean, like in honesty, like I don't have any exposure to it, but I know of it. I know what it is. I know what it is. Twitch dies on ad spam. What's a bevcast? Is it devcast? Okay. Let's place bets, guys. Are we gonna see? Is this thing gonna start within 10 minutes? We're at 6:55 now. Do you think that are we gonna see a face before 10 minutes? Or is it gonna be another couple of goes of the lobby music? Twitch has better emote role identity system, yes. And drops promotion thing, yes. The drops promotion is huge. Yeah, I think you nailed it. Better emotes. The animated emotes are huge. And being able to take an emote you have from one sub and use it in other chats is huge. I love that. I used to watch a lot of DJs. 2022, 2023. And having some good emotes not only made the chat fun, but it showed other people like who you followed. You know what I mean? So totally agree with that. Role identity system. Yeah, more of a granular kind of month by month, showing, 12 months, 13 months, 14, 15, 16, instead of YouTube, which kind of just jumps giant patches, right? And then drops. Anything else, I wonder? Maybe there's like a knocking system that can be good. Like there's like a dual stream system where you can kind of fuse your chats. That's pretty good. Also meaning you can assign VIP and stuff. Yeah. Do you ever watch? I'd like Ari at Home. I do. There's a lot of like live Streets of New York stuff these days. It's so cool to see him do well. And subs can have separate rules for chatting. Uh-huh. It's funny that Twitch has all these tools to make being a member on a stream fun, but I've had way more fun in this chat than any other. Aw. That's nice of you to say, Newport. Better gifting system for subs, I agree. Being able to gift directly. Now that can kind of be like a waste, because like people will gift to other like famous people that are never going to actually be part of the audience. But I agree. Can you turn down the music a bit? I can. Thanks, Fart. Sorry about that. I should have been sensitive to that. It is a bit loud. Yeah. It helps when you're chatting with your friends every stream. It's true. I think we've worked hard to learn about each other, right? It helps too that we game together. I don't think I had anything close to this level of camaraderie with other chats. Maybe one DJ stream, but it was a very small community. And we knew each other pretty well. And the jokes were good. Just being able to target regulars. Should only be able to gift to people who have tuned in at some point. It's true. And sometimes, Clippy and I have talked about it, like how the system decides who to give like a membership to is kind of based on, I don't know, we've speculated on what the system is, but it is very opaque. Fluid co-op is a great addition. What are you referring to, Charlie? Did I miss one? It's really fun. You'll love it when you play it. 7 ads in a row is killing Twitch. Yeah. Slay the Spire 2. Oh, very good. Yeah, they didn't change it. It's from what I've seen, a perfect example of if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Fluid co-op, cool. I stopped using Twitch when Lore had subscriber chat on and his YouTube does not. Makes me feel like they are trying to milk their community. Huh. Yeah, so I don't misgift SDF again. Yeah, a couple times, right? Not once, but twice. This is one of the best communities I've ever seen. That's so nice of you to say, Baraz. I have no idea how we got this lucky. I have no idea. YouTube deciding that I'm a brand account and thus making me unable to get gifts. Yeah. RIP. Imagine SDF comes and plays trivia sometime. Imagine he wins. Imagine he wins like 8 out of 10, right? And we even told him to stop guessing and he just keeps guessing. And then I have to like time him out at the 8th answer because it's correct. No, just kidding. He doesn't play his own game. Your green name to us, Razzle. Aw. I would kill to have SDF play trivia. Uh-huh. He would do that. He would answer the question mark. Daw. Okay. Oh, 12 minutes, guys. Now, I would be very sensitive to that. Like, you know, I wouldn't call this a technical difficulty, but, yeah, it's getting close, right? It's getting close. The reason it's delayed is because they're watching the stream and avoiding a bingo. So they have to restructure the stream. Ooh, take your guesses. Hey! I guess it's gonna start at 1732. That's a fun game. Anyone else want to venture a guess? If anyone gets it correctly, Italian Matthew has a gold coin bag. We'll give you a gold coin bag if someone can guess the exact... You get one guess. You get one guess. Okay? Can we do 1 minute ranges? No, that's too broad. I want a specific second guess. 15 is interesting. I hope we're not here until 1826. Well, Luke, great minds. It was close. Not quite there. 2231. Ugh. Yikers, dudes. Clippy's guessing 1313. That's wishful thinking. Oh, it's come and gone, Clippy. It's come and gone. 15 flat, says Lily. Yeah, right. Me and Luke guessed 2 seconds apart. Uh-huh. 20 minutes even. RIP. Big brain unites us. You got that hairless brain, right? You got that hairless Bingus brain. Your guess, Blinn? No, I'm just the humble narrator, right? I'm just the humble narrator. Let's do this. Oops. 1 minute. 1 moment. Let's do this. 1 moment. There it is. Let's get it, guys. Here we go. Ready? Bingus. Behold. Bingus fighter skin when? Guys, the Bingus. This is Bingus. This is Bingus. This is... Who was giving Burger the scratches? Yeah. Yeah, perpetually. For 60 hours, right? 60-hour scratch. Bingus. I still don't know what Bingus is. I think it has something to do with this image. I think it has something to do with this. I love it. It's so good. It's so uncanny, right? Wait, Burger, come back. That was Blinn minus gloves. In Bingus we trust. Guys, what time? What time? 15:15. Is anyone under 15? Rip Lily. Yeah. 1420. Sorry, Bren. Hi, Bren. Oh, 1504, guys. Rip. The 18-minute. Moss is looking good. 1555. Charlie's still got a chance here. If we get to 20 minutes, then we get to guess again, okay? If we get to 20 minutes and NEP gets burned, we all get to guess again. Crook? We'll even give Crook a second guess, okay? 20. Zaya with the OP late guess, right? I stepped away. Are we playing the times right? We have a gold coin bag on the line. If you have to guess the exact second though that the stream starts. Gold coin bag on the line, courtesy of Italian Matthew and Guild Leader. Italian Matthew was was recruited to help Guild Leader sell a Viola Delirium combo. And boy, oh boy, he got a good deal. I was hired. Accepting theories as to why stream is late. That's a very good. This is very good. Well, while we wait for the 20-minute mark to roll around. Crook, you get as my second. It's after 20 minutes, brother. You're gonna leave. Okay. I accept. He's refilling the water cup. He's getting more ice for the cup. Yeah. Clippy's. Yeah, Clippy's been excited for this, guys. Clippy is here. Clippy's locked in. Sorry, Seth. Rip. Ah, this is tasty. This is tasty. Can we look at Bingus for a few more seconds? Yeah. Yep. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. It's seamless. Right? It's seamless. How does it do it? You know? How does it do? He looks so regal, right? He's got this like Roman sash. This is the only good use of AI art. It's so good. You know, to make the image, I downloaded the two reference images of Bingus that Loopney posted to the Discord. And I said to the chatbot, hey, this is my cat named Bingus, right? Nice thick neck. And I said, can you modify this player character from this game I play to make it look like Bingus? And I think by pretending like Bingus was a real thing, it motivated the AI to do a good job. I'm not sure what this thing is back here. Bingus is a hairless creature, it's true. A couple nips short though. That's true. That's true. Albert Intelligence. I think he would capitalize his last name though, I think. It's canon. Luke Ney is Bingus' stepbrother. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. That's Bingus, guys. 1853. I feel like if I keep the stream on the stream starting soon screen for more than 2 minutes, I get antsy. I could not do that to you guys, right? Even though there's like 5 people there, still, it's like, we're here, right? You scheduled the thing. They said 10 p.m., right? Calm down. Calm down. Oh boy. The long edge. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I can't tell. Good thing Blinn had a Red Bull. It's true. Still entertaining. Guys, isn't that a good sign, right? That we can sit here and stare at a starting soon screen and still have a good time. That, you know, you can tell you're friends with somebody if you can travel with that person and endure like an airport layover together and it's not like it's no big deal, you know? My only fuel is fun. I hate when people can't be on time, especially for things they planned. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. As a very, very punctual person, this is my biggest pet peeve. If I say I'll be there at 9, I'm there at 8:55. That's also it's part of golf etiquette, right? Tee times, very important. If you're gonna be a good golfer, you gotta be there on time. You gotta show up. It's very important. It's actually part of, it's kind of like a sleeper skill of like golf enjoyers, you know? I'm 1/3 of the way through a watermelon Rita, and I'm slowly getting a little buzz while I wait. So this will be the best stream ever, I'm sure. One more reminder, guys, that we're gonna be talking, I'm gonna be laughing, we're gonna be making jokes. It might not be easy to hear these guys. If you want to hear them clearly and get news, go to the official channels. Don't be here. Do not stay here. This is not the place for maximum news. This is the place for a balance of news and entertainment. We'll call it infotainment, okay? We're here for infotainment. There, thank you, Clippy. I'm gonna pin this. I'm gonna pin this one. If anyone has any issues at any time, you can just go there and leave us to chuckle quietly in the corner. Since we have a few minutes, unrelated, I'm sad that Marathon has such a negative light upon release. Game actually pretty fun, well done. You can stand the art style, cool mechanics, that's cool. That's great. I've seen, who's been playing? Spud Hunter was playing it. I've seen Shroud play it. CDN, the third, I've seen play it and do very well. Yeah, I have nothing against it. Been in and out because of big DayZ RP going on right now, but I will be lurking. What kind of RP happens? What kind of RP do you do? I know it's hard to kind of summarize. I'm gonna be fully drunk by the time stream starts. Okay, dudes, we're over 20 minutes. Let's guess again. Everyone gets one more guess. If you can guess the exact second that we leave this screen, you win a gold coin bag. Yes, everyone guess again. One more guess. One more guess. Basically, TWD. Too wordy to describe, but good. TWD. A lot of 28s. 24s. 31, 31. Yikers. 36, 26. Ugh. Have it one more go, right? Now, we play this song at the start of the roasts sometimes, right? You play it one time. You play it one time. This song has a magic to it. But it loses its potency on the 10th, 12th, 15th, 30th time hearing it, right? What did Clippy guess? 10:55. Oh, Maury. Baraz, 25. The magic here is if stream is going to start. Someone in the Dad Discord just asked, did they get confused by the time change in the US? No, but they started, right? If they, like they went live, right? They went live. It's, if they were off by such a large amount of time, they wouldn't have gone live, you know? This is like, okay, we're, you know, okay, let's fire it up. And then like the Korean police are like, you know, oh God. And the server is modded to have so much more enemy variety. Server owner basically runs it like a D&D game. That's cool. 1 hour. Keep sipping, Newport. Keep sipping. We should have had a bingo square for this. I mean, as Moss says, okay? Still waiting. Are you seriously? We're hovering around, right? Yeah, hey, Jared, guess what? We've been here the whole time, brother. Lucky. Oh, here it is.
Hey, everybody.
2439.
Welcome to the tavern table.
And that's Paul.
Sorry we were late.
That's not a face reveal. Sorry we're late. I heard it. I'm doing it.
1 minute. Okay. So guys, welcome to the tavern table. This is actually our first time hosting this from inside the Ironmace office. We didn't have much time to set this up. This was a very spontaneous.
You've had days,
setup,
brother.
But we hope we improve the quality a little bit, and we'll continue doing that as we go with these.
Okay.
We plan on doing these about once every wipe going forward. I would personally like to have these uploaded and localized to YouTube in the future so everyone can understand them perfectly.
Yeah.
But yeah, for today, we'll try to keep it in English as much as possible. But I would like to go ahead and introduce everybody. So.
Okay.
So people saying that it sounds.
Is it too loud? Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to.
You're good.
Anyway, so. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and do introductions. We have Terry.
Who is that?
Hello.
SDF, and our special guest, Paul. So this is Paul's first time being in a developer Q&A.
No face
We're really
reveal.
happy to have him here.
No face reveal.
Paul's been with the team since very early on. I know he kind of just popped up in the community suddenly these days. But yeah, he's been here from very early on. He's
Watch
done
the
a
face.
lot for Dark and Darker. He
Watch
has
for
a
the
very
jealousy.
deep background in cybersecurity. He was the guy who made Iron Shield, our in-house anti-cheat. So Dark and Darker would not be the same without Paul. So welcome to the Tavern Table, Paul. We're
Watch
really
his
happy
face.
to have you here. So
You see that?
yeah, we'll go ahead and start with it. So
People are saying because of the double mic, it's kind of sound coming twice. So maybe turn
Is
off
it?
one.
It sounds
I
okay.
think that's-
here-
Yes. Super echo.
Paul frame mogging? I don't need to see the chat. I don't need to see the chat. The double mic. Mechanical. This is technical issue. This is a double audio. This is technical issue. How many STF monkeys does it take to fix a microphone? This counts, right? This counts. We're counting it. When you got a guy, when you have like the CEO of the company fiddling with a microphone and there's no audio, right?
Yeah, can everybody hear us fine now?
Oh yeah.
Let's give
Nice.
them a second.
Nice. You got it, big dog.
No, sir.
Okay.
Other
You got
okay,
it.
Perfect. Okay, great. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry about that, guys.
Show us your face,
Okay.
Paul.
So the first thing we're going to
Show
talk
us your
about
face.
is the current season.
Current season.
So, how are you all feeling about the current season?
You know how we feel. You know how we feel.
일단 뭐 대체로 뭐 플레이어들이 많이 좀 불편해하거나 좀 불쾌했던 부분이 많이 없어졌다고 생각을
Asleep in the
하고요.
corner.
그다음에 전체 전반적으로 좀 아직 뭐 밸런스나 부족한 부분 많이 있지만은 잘 개선하면 조금 훨씬 더 좋아질 거라고 생각해요.
Yeah. So what Paul was saying is, overall, he thinks that people are like less encountering less uncomfortable thing. Oh wait. So it's more comfortable. He's been fixing a lot of the balance stuff, so it feels better for people overall.
Watch his face.
It's still not perfect, but overall, he thinks it's improved a lot.
Thank you,
And
Clippy.
I'm, pretty much on the same page as, Paul, is that, yeah, I agree. I feel like this season is we're finally getting to a point where, we're not
There it
out
is.
of the woods yet, but we're finally starting to kind of turn that corner.
Uh-huh.
Our goal was to really try to stabilize,
Right.
the foundational stuff and fix the critical issues instead of focusing on content. But I feel like we're almost,
Yeah.
getting past that point. So
We're
if we turn
almost
that
safe.
corner and then from
We're
here on
almost
out,
not dead, guys.
We have a straight road ahead of us. That's the goal.
Yeah, so I know everyone has felt there's a change in stability recently. We hope that that's made a difference for you all. So the first thing is the workshop was just added in the last patch.
It's not very
Do you
good.
think that hit the development goals and is working as intended?
It's still a work in progress.
Yep.
Not yet. Maybe.
Workshops are a work in progress.
But it's good start, I think.
Good start.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll take full blame for that.
Blame.
The workshop. Yeah, I think it's the early access version of the workshop.
Yeah,
There
right,
it
right.
is.
It's super early on
Workshops
Yeah,
are a
there
work
was
in
some
progress.
context
Nailed
that
it, guys.
was-
I can
it
read these
came
dudes like a
out,
book.
Not scheduled.
It's not scheduled.
So it got pushed back. And I think because of that, the way that it came out, is that it exacerbated some of the
Exacerbated.
issues, the starting issues. So
Exacerbated.
already there was really good feedback on that, and then just seeing the way that people are engaging in that is that we have a hotfix plan for next week, and in that hotfix, so I think the concept was good. The execution needs work, right? But that's
Yeah.
we did kind of push it out fast, right? So I think the goal is it was a good base to learn on and to adjust. We have some emergency stuff that we want to start putting in to just make it more less cumbersome.
Yeah.
Already starting with the upcoming hotfix. So I think, and then the other issue is like there's the 4 services, the enhance, the rebuild, scrapping, and the crafting.
Yeah.
And so there's not enough differentiation in the identity of each service. So I think the next hotfix, we're going to make the enhance have a little bit more focus. So we're working on that.
craft
we're
is also
making
just
it
like a
little
random
bit,
item.
just less cumbersome, right?
Right.
So we're going to start with that, and then seeing the
No cup for
the
SDF.
new
Yeah, he's-
data. We have like a
He's flying
revamp
solo.
plan for that for the upcoming EAS 9.
Yeah, so I know that the workshop will definitely feel smoother if it's toned down just a little bit.
Yes,
and
that's
then,
coming.
and then also paired with the few weeks of SSF, I think it will go into the game really well. So the next thing is, recently we put out our first weapon cosmetics. We hope everybody liked those. We saw that there was a little bit of complaints with the pricing, and then also there was no bundle.
Yeah.
So to be
Did you
honest,
laugh at that?
we actually had the bundle designed before they were released. There just wasn't enough time, so we had to make the decision either delay the cosmetics or wait and put the bundle in next patch. We did make the decision
was the
to just
rush?
put the cosmetics in first with the bundles, but we also have even more weapon cosmetics
There it
coming in
is.
together with those bundles as well.
There it is.
So I think again, this is this is our first time doing that kind of system, system.
Yeah, the
So
money
it was
rush,
a
right?
learning
The
experience
rush.
for us. So yeah, it was actually pretty. The way I look at it, it was good that
Tell
we
me
did it this
about it.
way because now we
Yeah.
heard the feedback. So our plan is, and I think there was some
Rent was
distance
due.
on some of the specific items that we targeted.
Yeah, right.
So we hope to remedy
Terry's
that
a loot
with
box guy, right?
the like you said, the upcoming bundle. So
Terry's
that's
a
also
loot
planned
box
for the
guy.
upcoming hotfix.
Yeah, right. So
We heard, and so with the pricing, there is the reality of the business side of this, right? So again, the server costs are pretty out there right now.
Paul is nodding.
But all things considered, so we heard your voice. We had that
heard your
bundle.
voice.
Look forward to that with more attractive actual weapons. That is going
More
to be a fight on
attractive
things.
actual weapons.
yeah, so with the pricing with the cosmetics, we really aren't trying to line our pockets like some people might try to believe. We really do try to keep them as fair as possible,
Maintain the
but
game, yeah.
at the same time, we
Maintain
really
the
do have to
game.
maintain the game. Okay. Oh, and there was one exciting adjustment to the Ember Flame weapons
Yeah. Okay.
about the glowing.
Yeah. So, Paul.
I
This
spotted.
one's driven by Paul. Yeah.
오케이.
This is our first time milking, and we milked a little too aggressively.
무기 스킨도 그렇고 저희 어둠 쪽에서 발광하는 빛이 나는 스킨들은 솔직히 여러분들도 돈을 썼는데 졌다는 느낌이 드니까 그 저희도 잘 알고
You should
있고요.
never
그래서 좀 어둠 쪽에서는
vocalize
이렇게
the
발광하는
negative
스킨들은
aspect, right? We're not trying to line our
서서히
pockets.
이제
Nobody
보이지
said
않고,
that,
이제 발광하지
right?
않고
Like,
그다음에
or
이제
maybe people did
실질적으로
online, but you
이동이 있을
shouldn't.
때
If you're trying to, you should just never phrase it like that.
Just before I do the translation, it's like
Okay.
I'll give it background. It's like he is probably he probably spent the most money on cosmetics in our company, right? Like as an actual player, Paul, right? And so
Be like Paul, guys.
He
Don't you wanna
he
be
has
like
a
Paul?
Really good in tune with the player perspective of
What?
And so one of the things that he brought up, and I think this was also echoed in the community, was like, oh,
Exactly,
it's so
Brent.
pay to lose, right? It's like, oh, it's a good
Pay
start,
to lose.
it's cool and everything, but so pay to lose. It's like,
It's so
oh,
pay to lose.
how
So
can we
just spend your
improve
money,
it
guys.
in a way that, you know, makes it, I want to buy it, but I don't want to, you know, it's like, I want to buy it, I want to support you guys, but then I don't want to, you know, be at a disadvantage because of this, right? And we're not
Terry is a
looking to give you
gross sales
advantage.
guy.
And so Paul came up with a pretty good solution, I think. And that's what we're explaining is, hey,
he bought the
it looks
cosmetics.
cool, but like, because it gives you away in the darkness, and, you know, we're dark and darker, that it matters, right? Is that the solution is, and we're working on to get this implemented with the next hotfix, is that when you go in the darkness and you stay still, the effect will turn off.
Yeah.
And then when you move again,
cosmetic
then
you
it'll
can't
slowly
see half the
reignite.
time.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I think it makes the skins a little bit more enticing, to be honest. Just
Oh, a
seeing
little
the
more
effect go on
enticing,
and on.
right? To be
It kind of
honest.
has lightsaber vibes, but they're not really.
So again,
This is gross.
we understand, like, people have those concerns. It's like we want it to look cool, but at the same time, it's like not go overboard. And
Yeah,
so
right,
you know, hopefully this first batch is like we were trying to be a little bit conservative on that side, and then maybe we were too conservative and made it, you know. And so it's really good to have someone like Paul who is just like, you know, hey,
Watch the face.
really,
Watch the face.
you know, impactful with that player perspective.
Watch the face.
Yep, yep. Yeah, another big topic has been the arena. So we do have some arena adjustments coming up. Do you want to go into the details about those?
Again, so this was driven a lot by Paul because he plays arena a lot, right? Especially this season. And so
Paul's a great guy.
You know,
He buys cosmetics. He
there's
plays
two
the
aspects
game.
to this. Is
right?
that this is our first official arena season. It's not perfect. It came out. We did have some concerns, but for the most part, it's doing what we wanted, right? But at the same time,
Oops.
points that we knew about,
Yeah, it still
like,
exists.
yeah, it still exists, and it got, you know, the spotlight shines more on it because
Yeah, right.
this is the official season and people are taking it more seriously. In terms of engagement right now, is like, dude, the arena this season is popping, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
every weekend.
Because no one wants to
like,
die to barbarians in the dungeon and lose their
a
shit.
huge
right?
contingent that are coming in just for arenas.
Yeah,
right?
it's because
And so
there's
we know,
nothing
like,
else to do in the
this
game,
is,
guys.
You know, our goal also was this season is, you know, we wanted to make it more accessible, right? So that's why it's like, oh, okay, you know, forget about the it has to be minted with your name. We're gonna leave it at Epic, and so we wanted to get more people involved in the arena. So that was the plus side, and I feel like we're hitting, you know, those successes. But the issue is that because of those not minor, they're actually substantial issues.
Okay.
Those are coming out to light, and so like the big thing is like we have warlords, so it's the top 100. But now, you know, you see that people are parking. They're making multiple characters. You know, and parking it in the Warlord 100, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a bigger issue because we recently announced that community, the Warlord tournament, right? And so there is an issue for us. It's like, hey, yeah, this is the first official season of the arenas, and we want you guys to have trust in that system, especially with the upcoming tournament. But then now, you know, people are taking advantage of the system. And so the first thing is like, oh, okay, we're gonna work on making it so any like the duplicates, those won't be counted, right? So like the Warlord top 100 should be more accurate of the actual top 100.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing is that, you know, we're looking into. So again, these are things that we knew were important, and it made us now investigate more R&D space into it. Is like, oh, okay,
Space mentioned.
how can we improve the MMR system, especially for solos against teams? And then the other thing is we have to look into a decay system. So we're not promising all of this season.
Interesting.
But at the very least, we're gonna get the duplicates out.
Yeah, I think we actually have a few fixes coming up pretty soon.
Yes.
I'm not sure if Paul wants to go into
Kudashini?
details about those actual fixes that are planned, or or when, but I do know that Paul has something cooking
No,
up along with the
I didn't
arena.
talk about the gold dupe. I should have.
So,
So the reason I think it might be safer not to is because
Okay.
we're doing investigation. Again, it's some of the numbers, and we're talking with the actual matchmaking server
Yeah, right.
head to get that. We're gonna.
okay. But yeah, just know that we do have some arena changes
What?
coming soon. We will announce those.
But yeah, so I'll say again broadly is the three big things on our picture, or actually there's four. Is that the most important is getting
Yeah, duplicate ranks.
duplicate
Here.
ranks and the warlords, looking into the TK for this season and going forward, and then adjusting the MMR system so that pre-maze and solos and duos, they like there's a handicap.
Yeah, right.
And then the last one is like maybe extending the range. Like we do have that restriction range for MMR when you play with your friends.
Yep.
If you're too far apart, is like maybe extending that so you have a little bit more freedom to play with your friends.
All right, yeah. So I think everybody's happy about those changes and looking forward to them going into the game. The next thing we wanted to talk about was some adjustments to the dual boss room POI.
Dual boss room POI.
So-
Okay, yeah. So this is much more in Paul's wheelhouse right now. Is
Watch the face.
okay.
Paul is just in here smelling his own
제가
mouth,
생각하는
right?
이제 듀얼 보스름의 문제는
Imagine
제가 고블린
just the hot mouth
테이블을
air
굉장히 좋아하는데
In your
거기는
eye
POI가
skin
굉장히
area,
활성화돼 있어요.
right?
그 트롤이랑 사이클롭스를 이제 처치를 하고 그다음에 이제 듀얼 보스룸에서 POI를 하는. 하지만 좀 아쉬운 거는 지금은 좀 세션 시간이 좀 짧게 느껴지고 이제 호드가 추가되면서 그다음에 이제
잠깐만요. 그럼 잘라서 얘기할게요.
sorry.
Okay, so yeah, so I already
Later,
I
Barras.
forgot what he was saying, but I know because we've just him and I and SDF we've discussed this internally, but then so I know the gist is so we wanted to make the dual boss rooms like a POI, and I think on the Goblin Caves it's become a POI, especially with the adjustments to the horde, right?
Yeah, right.
But then the one issue now is that as a POI is that it feels like, in Paul's opinion, is that it's still the overall session time to do both bosses and get in there and have enough time to have that kind of exciting battle in there is a little bit short, right? So that's one of the motivations that was coming in.
Muffled Korean.
그다음에 저희 이제 크립트 같은 경우에는 이제 그 스펙트럴라이트랑 이제 벤시 같은 경우에 벤시가 굉장히 플레이하기 경험이 좀 좋지 않은 보스라는 걸 잘 알고 있고 이것 때문에 듀얼 보스링이 좀 활성화되지 않아서 이런 것들을 좀 이제 개선할 생각입니다.
Yeah, and so again, we had dual boss rooms and two maps, right? So we have in the Goblin Caves, and now he's talking about in the ruins. Yeah, so in the ruins is like so it's dependent on the Spectral Knight and the Banshee.
Ugh.
And so the issue here is that
Banshee.
The Banshee right now has a little bit of balancing issues and
The Banshee's
and
hard.
so that's the thing that we're looking to address. Hopefully we'll have that addressed in Hotfix 111, right?
Yep.
So again, looking to maybe slightly increase the session time, right?
Yeah.
Because to encourage more people to do the dual bossing, and then make it on the ruins a little bit more manageable with some of the balancing on the bosses.
Yeah, so the two main takeaways is session time increase just a little bit,
Yeah.
and then Banshee is getting a slight adjustment.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so yeah, before we get into actual Q&A stuff from the community,
Okay.
we do want to just talk a little bit about the upcoming wipe. So the first thing is the wipe date. Currently, the wipe date is scheduled for the end of April.
Yeah, so again, let me just give a little bit of background here. Is that so SDF is going to talk a lot more about this at the end of this session, right? Because we have a big announcement about that, right?
Sure,
But
why?
I think the community kind of could feel is that now the phase of development has kind of changed, right? And so we're going into a phase where we're highly prioritizing like stability, okay, and just like okay, now we fix the foundational stuff, and then slowly, predictably start to add stuff, right?
Right.
And so what this also means is that now we have more visibility into like scheduling and road mapping.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And so strategically the way we look at it is like, oh, okay, now we could set the pace, okay? Before it was like we were sprinting.
Yeah, right.
We were sprinting
right.
because we wanted
were very
to.
reactionary before.
And so now I'm sure starting from EAS7 is like when SDF made that decision. It's like, okay, he actually announced. So to us internally, it was a big message, right? And those terms, it's like the experiment is over, was a huge cue, and it really is, right? And so EA7 was the first. Let's see if that actually makes a difference, right? And then we saw that the advantages of going to that. And EAS8 this season is the first time where we're like, okay, full in, let's really commit to that. And because now we're getting comfortable, we're not again out of the woods yet, but we feel like okay, we're making progress here. And so because of this now we feel it's more predictable. It's like, oh, let's even make the wipes more predictable, right?
Okay.
So the way we're looking at it is like, hey, let's try to do wipes every 3 months, right?
Yeah. I know
Again,
go ahead.
Again, this is our plan right now. Things might not always go to plan, right? But it's like because of the sentiment and the feelings that we have right now that we built up, it's like, oh, we're feeling more comfortable. And that's why if you look at it, so we're planning to 3-month wipes going forward, is that the next wipe is scheduled for the end of this April.
Right.
That's what we're aiming for, targeting right now. What this also does mean, because it is a little bit more aggressive, I think you guys all saw it with the EAS7 it was a very extended season. So with the shorter timeline, because it's more aggressive, is that you might not have as much stuff coming out all at once, but that's actually the plan.
Yeah, I think at least people would like to feel a little bit predictable, or being able to predict a little bit about what we are doing, though. Right?
Sure.
So, yeah, I think
faster
that is
wipes
good.
are better, in my opinion.
So basically, we will be wiping a little bit more regularly going forward, but there might not be as much huge content pieces per season.
Yeah.
But overall, the year should feel better, though, I think.
I think so.
It should be more. There should be more polish again.
Right.
A bassinet.
Hopefully you guys
bassinet.
are seeing that. I feel bad saying that with being
you got it.
responsible for the workshop, right?
You got
but, yeah,
It
but
has been a good wipe.
to do more polishing with less, be more focused.
The community definitely can feel that, I'm sure, already. Even the last few months, or 1 or 2, 3 months, have felt different. Okay. So,
I'm
the
dead.
Gathering Hall.
Yeah.
This is
Gathering Hall.
some tough news for everybody.
I think I should talk.
Yeah,
Here we go.
There's going to be a lot
Here
of
we go.
context. SCF here.
Dungeon
About the
Daddy,
Gathering
let's
Hall?
go.
I personally requested about to stop the development about the Gathering Hall.
Yeah.
Because
But it's his baby too. So we know.
my baby.
Everyone in this
My
room
baby.
was really wanting the Gathering Hall as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
but 이건 조금 한글로 설명해야 될 것 같은데 예. 그래서 좀 파이낸셜 측면으로 봤을 때 지금 이
Financially.
게임은 서버 코스트가 좀 커요. 그런 상태에서 우리가 게더링홀은 아주 재미있게 디자인하고 있었는데 이제 이 게더링홀은 서버 코스트를 더 많이 늘리는 피처이기 때문에 지금 시점에서 이걸 너무 재미있게 만들면 아직 우리는 비즈니스 모델이 그렇게 건강한 편이 아니에요. 저희 입장에서는 아주 좋게 사이클이 돌고 있는 상태가 아니어서 이걸 끝까지 개발을 했을 때 우리한테는 더 안 좋은 결과가 나올 수 있어요. 그래서 여기서 원래 추구하고 싶었던 어떤 그 같이 게임 플레이 할 수 있는 사람들 찾는 거라든지 뭔가 그러니까 그런 그 소셜 측면에서의 어떤 서포트들 이런 것들을 할 수 있는 기능들을 조금 다른 형태로 좀 저희한테도 부담이 없고 플레이어들은 여전히 재미있는 형태로 풀 수 있는 아이디어가 있겠다라고 생각을 해서 지금 원래 진행하던 게더링홀은 잠시 그 서브 코스트 문제가 해결될 때까지 조금 홀딩한 상태고요. 지금 우리는 이제 파티파인더
Yikes,
같은
Maury.
형태로 전환하기로 결정을
I
했습니다.
know, I see it.
Sorry,
I know.
guys.
Oh my god, dude, this is too much for me to.
I can-
Okay,
You don't know
crazy,
that.
crazy.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, so to be honest, we are all heartbroken about the Gathering Hall right now. The main points is we tried to develop in mind to make it as fun as possible, but the price for servers was so high that we couldn't feasibly do it without doing a lot of damage to our financials to even sustain it. It could actually really jeopardize the company, to be honest, with the way it was designed.
Whoa.
So, Terry,
Put us
do
out
you
of
want to add
business.
some more to that?
Yeah, so,
It's not totally canceled, everybody. Just making sure you know
Oh.
that.
Because we
Not
still
cancelled.
tune about
Yeah, yeah.
sub cost.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, so again, so going back to our structure, so
What?
the
What?
service cost involved
Yeah.
with running the game is, you know, pretty substantial, right? So that's the reality of it. The issue was, hey, you know, we were designing it. SDF was actually the main designer for the Gathering Hall, right? And getting to a point, it's like, oh, okay, we were kind of getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
It's like,
SDF took a white break.
If we build this, you know, we expect a lot of people to come without worrying too much about the concerns of the cost.
Yeah.
But then now we are getting into the more mature phase of running the you know, running the game stably as like basically what all this means is like we're getting to a phase that we want to start really thinking about this game going to like version 1.0.
Right, exactly.
And you know, where we're not like experimenting anymore, right? But that means that then now this has to be able to support itself on its own feet, right? And so when those kind of considerations start entering the picture, it's like, oh wait, we haven't actually fixed the issue of the service costs.
Yeah.
It's like if this becomes so popular as like, you know, it's like everyone's using it, it actually makes it almost unfeasible, you know.
For us to even operate. Yeah.
Well, so the thing is, there's some challenges here, right? And so the thing was like, oh, okay, let's put it on hold right now until we actually go to the technical. We, you know, look back into the technical and find a solution there. And so that's it. The phase got, you know, shifted. So that's what's happening. At the same time, he realizes that having this kind of social system feature is critical to the game, right? And so in the meantime, when we're trying to fix, you know, find a solution for this issue, is that at the same time, you know, we're already working on a party finder system. Again, it's not
Party finder
Gathering
system.
Hall is a whole ecosystem of these kind of social features.
Yeah.
And okay, let's do a critical, you know, small part first until we could be confident that we could support this, you know, without losing our clothes, right? So that's the current state right now.
Without going too deep into it, you want to hint on the party finder just a little bit? Basically, what it will consist of?
So I mean, you know, this is something we talked. Like we come from you know, like we're old, right? I'm like nearing a half a century now, right? So yeah. But so we come from like a lot of our nostalgia was playing like old BattleNet games, you know, like Warcraft 3, StarCraft, Brood Wars, and and so like I think the first pass is going to be very similar to like those kind of where you could make a custom game, you can make custom parties. We'll start with that.
By the way, I want to clarify, we're not actually talking about making a custom game mode. It's more of actually making custom parties in a way that you can always talk to each other with being in different menus, not being in the actual same party.
Yeah, so again, this is the starting social feature. Don't, you know, we're gonna have these kind of things while we're still investigating and working on.
조금 제가 게임 플레이 측면에서 조금 더 설명을 해드리면 일단 제가 지금 현재 생각하고 있는 우리 게임의 아쉬운 점은 예를 들면 뭐 와이번을 이제 킬링하라 프로스트 와이번 근데 이런 것들을 잘 못할 수 있는 플레이어들 있잖아요. 근데 이제 이런 플레이어들이 자기를 도와줄 수 있는 그런 플레이어들을 쉽게 찾을 수 있기를 바라고 뭐 그 과정에서 가능하다면 이건 제 희망이지만 약간 커스텀 클래스 같은 것들을 이제 플레이어가
It's
의뢰하고
weird.
다른 플레이어가 그걸 accept해서 플레이하는 이런 형태를
So
원해요.
will players be able to name the channels basically?
Yeah, so they'll be having at the very
It might
minimum,
even be
right? So,
canceled.
but I think what SJ is talking right now. So one of the things that he feels
I'm
kind of
sad and kind of pissed
like
off.
the limitations of our game, you know, the social aspect of our game is like, you know, there's different player base. Player, you know, types, right? So maybe I want to capture the kill the wyvern, right?
Yeah.
I have quests or
Or
whatever.
like learning the
Yeah.
wyvern, stuff like that.
But I don't have the skills yet, right? And it's like there's no easy way for me to
Yeah, right.
meet up with someone that could teach me or you know help me on that. And so to form a system that you know encourages these people to meet up,
Yeah.
and then even going further, like is if players can make quests themselves to give to other players, you know, oh, help me capture the wyvern,
Yeah.
and here's a reward, right? And so
And get some gold.
yeah, get
Yeah.
some gold, right? So.
Interesting.
So that's the line of thinking. Again, we're going to start really small, right? Just get that functionality out there because, you know, it's been a big hole for a long time. And we kind of wanted to just throw the gathering hall all at once to,
Yeah.
but okay, because this is looking into it in that meantime, this first part is really critical. Let's get that out.
Yeah. So we are really sorry about the gathering hall. We really do want it into the game. I know 3D space where everybody can socialize and chill out is going to be super fun. It's just not something that's coming right now as we planned. We planned it to be out, you know, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we just want to let you guys know about that. Like I said, we're super sorry about it, but we'll try to do what we can. Okay,
Sucks.
So
Sucks.
just a few more things before
it's
we go into
never
the
coming.
community Q&A part.
Okay, it's
We do have the Arena Warlord tournament coming up pretty soon. I'm going to post the application to join that tournament next Friday. Currently, the dates are set for April 17th, 18th, and 19th. It could change, but that's what it's looking like for now. So the tournaments are going to be separated by NA, Asia, and EU.
yeah. Gathering Hall is dead. It's over.
We know that's not technically everybody, but it's all we can host for now. We'll try to do better in the future if we can, especially if the game population allows it in the future. Also, so with the applications, you have to be a warlord at the time you apply. We'll check your account. You'll see all the details about that in the actual application. You'll be able to apply solo, or you'll be able to put down 2 other teammates who are also warlord. If you have teammates that want to play with you in the tournament, that's fine. If you do not, there will be an option to apply solo, and we will match you with teams in that or teammates in that region if it's possible. So we hope you all enjoy that. It's the very start of that. We know it might not be perfect at the beginning, but we'll do what we can to make it better and keep going with it. I know like our ultimate goal would be having all the teams fly out who win and then do like a world championship. That'd be super cool. So that's something that's possibly coming in the future, just not right now. We do have a possible small collaboration with the Ad Mortem team. So I do want to just give a shout out to their studio. Currently, their team is cooking up a really cool project. It's their first project ever. So shout out to
plane
Ad Mortem.
ticket.
If you've never heard of them, go check them out. So I don't want you guys to be surprised that there is something possibly coming up pretty soon.
I didn't even think about that,
but I'll
Gonzo.
just keep it at that for now.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
Also, Twitch drops. We will be having another Twitch drops campaign at the start of next season, as we usually do. Right now, it is set for 2 weeks, but it might extend to 3 weeks. It's currently
question, Lily.
being decided. I do want to talk about the Twitch drops this current season. I do think I missed the mark a little bit as far as the gear goes. I do like how we changed it to show the stats, but I will say I don't think that there were enough options to viably pick items. I know several times when I went in there, it was like there was almost never anything even worth buying. So I do want to adjust the item count just a little bit to make it more feasible for players. I know we don't want to just hand out items, but we do want to make it worth your time for watching.
So those kind of adjustments that's the stuff that we're super open to, that we're working on, you know.
Yeah, so we will keep improving those as time goes on. But anyway, yeah, so that's for next season. And then last thing about the community side stuff is I do want to shout out to all of our volunteer teams. So that's the Wardens, Scribes, Knights, and Iron Guard. They do so much for us. We're tremendously grateful for all of their help. I know, so the Iron Guard is our most recent community team. They've been doing awesome for helping, clear the dungeons of, teamers. We're sorry about that. We're doing our best. I know Iron Guard is helping a lot though, so thank you. And also shout out to the Scribes. They make the game localized in so many languages. Thank you so much for that. That makes a huge difference. But yeah, thank you so much to all of our volunteer teams.
Okay.
But yeah, now we're going to shift into some community questions that were asked. Okay, so the
They're
first
printed
one
out.
is console. When can we expect, or can we expect some kind of console release?
So I'll answer this one because it's something that I've always wanted. So I don't know if people know my background. I'm from the
He
US.
only plays console.
No.
I'm just kidding.
But
He's so. His desire.
yeah. So my hope was, I always thought that the Dark and Darker gameplay, the gameplay itself, could actually translate really well to console. That was the desire, right? Because when we started, we there was none of that thinking, but it was just like, oh, okay. It would be great if we could cross that.
Would it?
It would be the first of
I
its
think
kind.
he's a sales guy.
Yeah,
He's a money
and I
guy.
think,
He just sees dollar
now
signs
that,
for the console.
There's background
And there's
stuff
nothing
too,
wrong
but
with
now
that.
that
It's just
the legal stuff has been kind of calmed down and stuff, and so we could,
Would
because you
Dad
have to
feel
talk
good?
with
Does
different partners and
FPS
stuff.
feel
It's
good
because
on a
of those
console?
kind
I
of
don't
events
know
that
enough
happened
about it.
Recently, it's like, now our confidence of kind of engaging into the console is higher, right? So we've actually started to
Clippy,
actively start to pursue that now. Okay, so that's that is something we're looking into.
It's more like the gameplay itself. I've never thought that FPS, first-person stuff,
the first to
good
admit is
with like a little like a thumbstick.
Have zero experience making a console game.
A third-person
I don't
camera
think,
feels better for console.
We have a lot of so we
Dad
might be
on
going
60
into this
FPS would
totally,
suck.
With
If Rust did it, I bet Dad
being
could.
naive about this, right?
Although Rust sucked on console.
It's driven more by a goal and a drive to do console. We have to do our actual homework, and we started
There's
doing
so
that.
many console
I think
players,
you saw
right?
One of our goals
There's so
with
many console
EA
gamers.
was to get more gamepad support.
Yeah,
We're still
Would it
not
be
there
too
yet.
bad?
Give us some
Think
feedback
about
on
all
that.
of the
I know I asked a few
high-level,
people
the
who
people
mainly
that
play
manipulate
controller,
the
but,
mouse
we always
so
appreciate
quickly,
feedback
though,
when it comes
right?
to that to make it better for console in the future.
Enough
But
money to. I'm
again,
going to come back to this. I'm not sure if it would be good.
Trying to bring that
I don't know.
Dark and Darker experience onto console is something I'm really, and I think everyone else is really excited to try. Okay, so that's the reality.
It's because you need money.
Cross-platform would do so much for the population, and I think it would be huge.
So, that's our hope.
Yeah,
that's our hope. Is at the same time we want to be realistic about making things on an even ground, right? So, yeah.
Okay.
They would have to separate the player bases.
The next question
they would
is,
have to.
do you think we will see the training system in the foreseeable future?
Okay. Okay,
I missed the question.
Yeah. Okay, honestly speaking, is so this is a discussion that SGF and I have had a lot about, right? So the reason this has been kind of pushed on hold is there is kind of two conflicting viewpoints about this, and so because of this, we haven't made an actual decision on which way to go, right? Yeah. And so I'm more of a traditionalist, just keep it simple, like a skill tree, right? Mm-hmm. And if we decide on doing that, we could probably get that out next wipe or the wipe after. But at the same time, is SCF is oh wait, we want to, not put ourselves in the corner and then maybe challenge ourselves design-wise too, right? And so I think that was, if people know,
like a subclass system.
Yeah. So
subclass
what
system.
he's been pushing more is maybe so we learned a lot from the multi-classing, right? So but it's not, it hasn't been. I think that was the execution was the issue, right? Yeah. And so the stuff we learned is not pure multi-classing is like, let's try to explore ways to make it a little bit less traditional and challenge ourselves design-wise and maybe have some kind of a subclass system, right? And so this is the stuff that, again, but right now, because we have all this process stuff that we have to, we're fixing in the background, this has kind of been on hold, right? So I think that's the answer is like, if we want to go with the traditional, and we, this is a thing that we go back and forth on, right? Is that, if we do that, we could kind of get that out earlier. If we wanted, and this is a balancing act with several other major features, right? So that's the answer is that, can we see it in the foreseeable future? If you hear that we're coming out with it pretty soon, then you'll probably know what to expect, right? In terms of like, that's a more, you've seen it in a lot of other RPG games.
Yeah.
If we keep on pushing it back, it's very likely it's going to be something that you've probably not seen.
As someone mentioned as well in the chat, we don't want to put something out that it'll just be everyone's copy pasting the exact same perks and it's the exact. We want something that actually is impactful.
So our concern with the skill tree system is that our personal experience with most skill tree systems is that it locks people into metas.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
I really hate that.
Yeah, he super hates that. To me, it's like, I'm not a big fan of that, but then the way I look at it is like, because we are a live service game, and then we do have some outs, I guess.
Zach.
Is that we have seasonal wipes.
It is.
We can change metas, but at the same time, that's not the ideal.
Yeah, right.
So
I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's why this is a kind of a hard.
Yes, it is a long time ago.
There's not a perfect answer, and there's other stuff that we have to prioritize, just management wise first. And like I keep on restating is that we're kind of seeing the end of the tunnel on that part, and so now once we get out of that, we could start focusing on these kind of creative
we're about to start.
Okay. So, does Ironmace have any plans regarding an extension to the religion system?
religion system.
Religion system.
그래서 이건 원래 이제 그 약간 매시브 PVP 이런 것들 해보고 싶어서 우리가 만들었던 거니까 소사이어티가 너무 없으니까 소셜 기능이 우리가 너무 없으니까 그걸 대체하기 위해서 나왔던 건데 우리가 당시에 만들 때 이 릴리전 시스템이 정말 아쉽게도 그 플렉서블하지가 않아요. 지금 만들어 놓은 게. 그래서 지금 이걸 튜닝하기가 되게 어려운 상태로 제가 이해하고 있고 그래서 여기서 뭔가 기능을 더 발전시키는 걸 저희가 잠깐 멈추고 지금 있는 이제 코스메틱을 얻을 수 있는 어떤 그 헌금하는 형태 그 형태를 지금 유지하고 있고요. 그래서 지금 당장은 플랜이 없고 근데 이제 오리지널 플랜은 이것들을 가지고 뭔가 리팩토링 하는 거였는데 아직 그쪽으로 확장하기에 한번 대규모 리팩토링이 필요했어요. 이렇게 이해는.
Okay.
네.
Yeah. So, the quick answer is that right now there's no plans to expand this, right? But what SDF really wanted to was the intention behind the religion system was that he wanted to be more of a social feature where you have like big groups versus groups, right, fighting each other. And then what he mentioned right now is that the current implementation is like technically it's kind of like hard coded, right?
Yeah, right.
And so that leads to why there's no short term. Why we don't have short term plans to expand it right now because it would actually take a lot of effort. But the original intention is to have these kind of group identities where you know. So yeah, the gist of it is right now there's nothing in the short-term plan, but there is and there was bigger, goals for the religion system.
Okay. Yeah, so we know there's room to expand that, just not right now. Can we expect more community contests in the future, like the minor artifact event? So, Paul, I know you wanted to talk about that.
커뮤니티.
네, 커뮤니티와 지금보다 더 많이, 더 자주 이런 이벤트를 하기 원하고는 있는데 저희가 일단은 그 타이밍도 중요하고 저희가 어디에 지금
Well,
집중하는
and here's the
가가
thing, like,
중요해서 그런 것들을
cosmetics,
좀 이제 그
we'll rush him out.
고민하고 있습니다.
We didn't
Okay,
even
So
wait.
he's saying, yeah. So he does have the
But
desire
other
to do
things-
more community events, but it's
There's
a
always
matter
an
of
excuse.
timing and then our focus of resources. So once we get a better handle on that, I think we could do more. But yeah.
Timing and focus of resources.
Yeah, and I will add on there. Actually, we were considering doing one about a month ago, but just some stuff happened. It wasn't viable, but we have it on the background, so it will come.
Okay.
The next thing is, will the deal maker allow Faustian, Bargain, and High Roller?
Where's the
again?
big? What's the big announcements here,
Yeah.
guys?
So Faustian again.
What? Why?
네,
What were the big announcements?
일단은
What did we
이거는
miss? Was there anything
제가
massive here?
personally that's my personal request. It should be in
Yeah,
Iron
Yeah. So SDF's personal
Then-
request is he wants
Then
Faustian
Paul
Bargain back in.
will make that.
Yeah, and then Paul's gonna
The white
be
date, maybe? I
responsible
guess.
for getting that done.
Yeah.
And so background is people don't know is that
It's not from Paul.
Yeah.
It's from me.
yeah, so it's
not from Paul, it's from me. It's not from Paul, it's from me. Did you hear him say that?
He's asking
It's not from
is
Paul, it's
in
from
the
me.
background for the last 2 seasons has been
Bingo.
pretty much the
Not bingo,
warden
but
of
that counts.
the Faustian
That counts.
target. So all the balancing and stuff
That
that,
counts.
goes even into the monsters.
He fucking said
was
it.
Being
This one's not
pushed
from
by
Paul, this one's
So
from me.
That's why. he's,
I heard
Don't
him
blame
say
Paul.
it.
just blame me.
The first week of High Roller Faustian Bargain was crazy. So,
maybe he's
I think a lot of
downplaying.
people are looking forward to
He's
this
saying that
answer,
the High
but
Roller Faustian
are
was
there
bad?
Any plans to have a
I
stash
think it's
slash
jealousy.
inventory
I think it's
auto-store
jealousy.
system?
Yeah, it's also my personal request.
So
there should-
please understand when he says personal request, that's like order down from God. For us, it's like, oh, okay, get this done.
Dungeon
so
Daddy.
We know that this is important. I think even in the comments right now, people are talking about where's the auto sort, where's the filter, and so this is something that is like super high priority to the development team itself. Is like this, so. Already, even right now, we are working on this right now. So I think the last talk, we last podcast.
I
we came
know,
out
Charlie. I
again,
know.
and the current implementation of
It's not perfect, but
yeah. So there's a lot of issues with the inventory system. We have to continue to improve this. This like. There's still the what is it? The legitimate ESP because of this, where people and so we know about this and we have to fix the root cause of the inventory system. But in the meantime, because we're trying to get perfect out means that everyone's waiting way too long. It's like, okay, so the quivers that came out was done as
2
hard-coded
hours.
spaghetti code. Okay,
Spaghetti
everyone's just like,
code.
okay, we promised it.
Spaghetti
we promised
code.
it. We have to get that done. And this is kind of in that same boat. Is that okay? This underlying system is kind of
nothing
rocky,
really.
But because it's such a fan favorite feature, fan requested, and then now we have the commandment from above saying this has to go in. Is we're gonna have to do the spaghetti code, hard code. On the filter and the sort, and we're working on that already.
It's
like a
not good to
workaround.
refer to SDF as
so
God. I don't think.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be
That's
perfect
not.
because of that.
I don't
but
want a boss
it's
who thinks they're
being done
God.
as
That's
we
not
speak.
good.
Okay,
A nothing burger?
I'm sure they're glad to
A
hear that.
commandment from above.
Okay, is a boss rework on the horizon?
Boss
this
rework.
is my personal favorite. So, but I know Paul wanted to answer this one.
What?
일단 기존 보스들을 하나하나 이제 검토를 시작하고 있고요.
You
아마
didn't miss anything, Arkar. We'll recap at the end here.
정말 그 보스 플레이를 하면서 일단 불쾌한 부분을 먼저 좀 이제 그 터치.
He starts talking in the third person.
개선을 하고 나서 전반적인 리워크나 이런 부분들은 좀 신중히 좀
Because
검토하는
Paul
것이
is a person who cares
좋습니다.
about privacy, Arkar.
조금 관련해서
Who just loves
이거를
bassinets.
까먹기 전에 얘기.
오케이. 맞아요. 저 지금 한글로 얘기한다고 생각하고 있어.
Yeah, and so personally,
Like a buffer.
Translation.
my CPU is
Thank you.
these days,
Yeah.
I probably aged more in the last like 3 months than the last like 10 years. But what Paul is saying is like we've already started to look at the bosses You know, he wants to do it one by
Charlie.
one. You're already going to start seeing that with the
Banshee.
the Banshee.
The Banshee.
Right. So that's already ongoing, and he wants to make it so it's, you know, start making it, finding those pinpoint, you know, points where it's uncomfortable, it's not that fun, and tuning that. So that's the goal.
Okay.
We're already starting that. You'll see it with the Banshee, the first pass coming soon.
I've never once fought the Banshee.
There is actually a good,
Thank you. English.
big change of the organization about the monster part. There's new part leader from the animator, but he has always wanted to improve more about the monster patterns or something. Be good. He really wants.
He's also Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so people don't listen to him
really.
beat us up.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking
He's a good
about?
guy, and he will take a more see more deeply about the monsters patterns or quality or something.
Yeah.
Then it could.
I
it
do
should be
know
good.
players would like monsters to be a little bit makes sense based on the floor. Right now, it's honestly a little bit all over the place, but it's something we are aware of and we want to work on. Okay, so this is kind of a big one. Are you happy with the way the game is in its current state?
Wait, didn't we start with something?
Yeah, we can kind of. So yeah, we can just answer pretty lightly.
Well, so for me is I feel like we're in a much better place now, like internally, just like mentally, and then just like hope-wise.
I caught
than,
that,
like, 6
Seth,
months
weirdly.
ago.
I caught it.
Yeah, everybody knows 2025 was a wild
It was
year.
rough. Yeah,
but
it was pretty rough.
honestly, we learned a lot of good lessons from that year, and I
got
think it will make
spanked.
the company overall super strong in the future.
Okay.
It's not perfect.
Yeah,
100%. We have a long ways to go, but like, the metaphor I keep on using is we're finally turning a corner, and I'm hopefully want to see a straight road going, and we just need to go here, not have too many detours. You know, we're not going to get enticed by weird detours, and we're not going to have too many bumps, and let's just. Okay, let's go.
Was
forward.
Water Combat
There's
a weird
1.0
detour?
here, you know. Hopefully, my dream. Oh, we have a console dark and darker experience that we could kind of put on the man. Then we're just driving along. That's how I feel. And right now, and I feel like the other thing I do want to, this is kind of internal
These are
stuff. Is that
priorities.
internally, our metrics is showing that.
Very positive.
Yeah, these being stable, being steady, having that, commandment is no more. We're out of experimenting. Is like it is actually making a difference. We were being very careful. Like I think SCF did mention is like the last 2 seasons, because we were doing that kind of transition, is that we haven't been spending any money on marketing, right?
Like
This
in
is the
real
first
life.
time that
You train
and so,
underwater before you go to
because
space.
we
Absolutely
wanted-
him.
Before we knew there were so many broken things, it was like, oh, you pour money in, and it was just kind of, and we weren't getting that the return, right? I feel like with the recent data that we're seeing right now, is
That's
like even if
very
we're looking
interesting.
at weekly average retention DAU, this season is matching our when we first launched on Blacksmith, the Hold the Line season, where everyone's on the honeymoon. Right, and we're actually, I think, upcoming week is gonna be first place out of the eight or so seasons that we have data for, and so we're like, okay, and so I think SJ mentioned is like, oh, okay, now we could start slowly turning on the marketing. In the past, all we've done for the last 2 seasons was Twitch drops. That's it.
Yeah,
that was just all internal, right?
Right.
So that shows that kind of confidence of where if you ask, how do I feel about this current season? It's like, okay, I'm feeling much more hopeful, much more confident. We still got work to do, but.
So even the metrics show a lot more stability these days, and the player count might not reflect it, but the retention is actually doing really great as well.
Yeah.
So we are super happy about that. Okay. So this isn't that important, but I'm sure people would like to hear this answer. Do we have any plans to allow players to change their character names? I will say, for example, I know like one guy has like every famous person's name possible.
Oh, the
and he's
streamer?
never-
Yeah.
I'm
He
gonna
has to
say
log in.
this is
Yeah.
close
It's like
enough.
three
He
years
logged in
or
day one to just to claim those
talked
names,
about-
so we're sorry about that.
Some things related to marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so
It's not rocket science.
this is, because we haven't really officially talked about this internally, but I think for me, because when you told me about that guy, I was like, dude, yeah, that sucks, right? It's because your online name is your identity, right? It's like
Okay.
it sucks that you can't claim your identity.
Yeah.
I think
technically,
technically
I
there's
just
some
did.
issues that we have to look at, and then policy wise, like community service wise. But
Luke.
the goal is, this is important. It's important for the community. It's important for members to be able to have their identity
nice, you
right,
do.
in a
That's
live
nice.
service game. So I think we have to find out right timing. My personal thinking, we have to align, but is when we get to 1.0, maybe we just do a name wipe.
Yeah.
We give all people that have that have been playing the game some kind of window where they could claim their name, or and then so when we start that new season afresh, you have your name, and then in the future with that we could build upon like a name change kind of
Yeah.
function.
I do know right now it can be kind of tough to find a name because we have, 10 characters, 11 characters per character. It's all per count. It's all shared on the same server. Yeah, the names are taken. We're sorry about that. We'll do something about it when we can. So the addition of parrying for every weapon was really good. We had a lot of good feedback about that. I think it was actually, it kind of came out of nowhere. People weren't really expecting it too much, but the results were really nice. Are there any changes like that to the melee combat coming in the future?
Here we go.
네, 폴이 먼저
Here we
얘기하고
go.
그래서
일단은 기존 패링 시스템 저도 굉장히 좋아하고요. 근데 일단 지금 조정해야 될 부분이 좀 많이 있다고 생각해요. 아직 정리를 하지 않고 첫 번째 만든 거다 보니까 무기별로 어떤 타이밍이나 이런 것들이 정말 좀 더 정밀하게 튜닝할 필요가 있다고 생각해서 이걸 먼저 좀 개선할 거고, 그다음에 좀 더 이제 앞으로 이런 그 잘한다를 표현할 수 있는 스킬 표현을 할 수 있는 이런 도구들을 조금 더 많이 이제 개선할 생각이지만, 개인적인 의견으로는 너무 진입 장벽이 또 높아지는 걸 바라진 않기 때문에 신중히 좀 검토하면서
automaton.
생각이에요.
Okay, I'm gonna super simplify it.
Yeah.
But so he's he's happy with us expanding the parry system. There's still work to be done because like there's adjustments, tuning, some of the the animations, the reactions, the hits. So there's adjustments that still need to be made. So he's gonna be fully focused on improving the current parrying system, but overall we're going the right direction. And
there will
now
be
I just
new,
went to play.
I'll explain. I'll explain.
I love that SDF English skills. Is like
my English is so bad, but let me try. Yeah,
Come on, buddy.
I think we are lack of the skill expression. I think it's not enough
Leg
for
up the skill
our game.
expression.
And
Level
Paul
up.
was working hard for the balancing and adjusting the new parry motion sort of thing, but he says it's not enough. It still need tune.
Yeah, that's the part.
And there should be some new features for the skill expression, but he doesn't want it to something so new or too complicated.
Yeah.
Then he will looking forward more.
Like an intuitive.
Right.
That makes sense. That it doesn't need to be like a weird, only the culture, our community knows that,
Yeah.
right?
And
But-
I do think the recent melee changes actually fit into the game really well. So
But I will request about the chambering system.
Yeah.
Chambering system.
The weapon edges will
Yeah.
complete
that'd be
this
super
together.
cool.
Yeah. For using more impact register system or impact
There
power
it
system.
is.
Yeah. So that I knew.
But it's totally new.
yeah, right.
And so yeah, we're
I will
gonna,
request personally to
Yeah.
for.
Okay. So Are there any plans for dynamic random events in the dungeon?
No, no follow-ups.
He will explain.
Okay. Okay, I guess I would.
Actually,
that's- we
heard,
kind
I remember,
of got-
there was mentions of this like 3 years ago. The something roaming through the
Random
dungeons. I
events.
can't remember what it was.
Well,
We've
the,
had
I feel like
cool
these guys,
ideas in
do
the
they know
past.
these questions are coming?
so the thing
I think
is,
so, probably.
again, this transition phase is, of course, I want to make the game more have more feelings of like actual dungeon diving, dungeoneering, and so those are all. But
Okay. That's why
we
we're
built up so
investing in
fast,
a
and we
100-person
built up, like,
arena
just
tournament.
adding on
'Cause
everything.
I love the dungeon. I
And
love
so
the dungeon diving.
The last 2 seasons was really that phase of, okay, instead of just piling more things on, is like, let's slow down. Really, the age of experimenting is over.
The structure is good.
Reduce and then find out this is the core.
Small maps.
Remove this, fix what we are, and then from here we could start adding on events, right?
Yeah.
So I really do want to go down this path, but we had to do the kind of the inside spring cleaning. We're not done yet, right? But we've made really good progress, and so and we've been dabbling into that, right? So I think even this
the
season,
dynamic POIs.
yeah, the dynamic POIs, we have. Shout out to like Liquid,
What's an
there's,
example of a
people out
dynamic
there that are
POI?
like, hey, we're trying. It's just our capacity right now is
They didn't show
doing,
it. They talked about they
spring
talked
cleaning
about them, the
plus
existing
adding.
ones.
So once
But
we
they
get
didn't
this
show
done, we
anything.
can start
I thought they were gonna show it.
focusing a little bit more on here. So it's a matter of capacity. The desire, the will to do it has always been super high, right?
Yep. So I do know SSF has been a hot topic and people are pretty split on it in the community
SSF.
and actually internally.
Oh
as
boy,
well.
you guys
Oh.
know that. Yeah.
So,
자, 토미 거.
what do we think about SSF?
Just explain about that.
First,
Yeah.
Hi again,
First,
Lyrebird.
okay, yeah.
Whoever.
솔직히 말하면 2주까지는 재밌었는데 3주차 되니까 되게 조금 힘들더라고요. 이게 아마 저 개인적으로는 워크샵이나 퀘스트의 어떤 밸런싱
It's the
이런
queen of it in
부분이
Arc.
더잘 돼 있었다면은 조금 더 재밌었을 것 같은데 그런 좀 아쉬움이 있었어요.
Yeah, so you're
Aggressively
saying, personally for
gesticulating.
him, like 2 weeks was fun. Once it got to the third week, it kind of got a little bit tough. There may be, some balancing issues and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was his personal feeling. Me personally, I understand that the why there is that attractiveness with the SSF mode. I will be very honest, is that there is actually in our data too, is that there is a big kind of cultural divide in our user base
Yep.
of the acceptance of SSF, like with
Sure, we can give it to Crook. Sure.
Our Western users are a little bit actually not much more open to it than our Eastern, but again, it's complex because we have a pretty. It's very strange too, is that we have a pretty even divide, right? And I was like, oh man. So the easiest thing for me is if we had 100,000 users, just make two game modes.
Yeah, right.
And then 50,000. I think that it would do well in its own. Reality is right now we're at this point where that's not sustainable. So in the near future, I think we're gonna keep on running as events because there is that charm and there is that fun.
Yeah, I think
of
the
it.
first
So,
2 weeks is a really good compromise. It gives a good dose without making it too long. Okay, and now about the ship graveyard. So,
Ship graveyard, the
will we
water
be
map.
seeing any extension or rework to the ship graveyard anytime soon?
제가 말할까? Okay.
예.
So not soon.
Not soon.
So there was a plan to do it soon, right? And then, but again, it goes back to, hey, let's kind of steady the boat.
I like 3
and
weeks
then
too.
Go forward with
I like
know.
3 weeks as well.
slow progress. I
Steady
think
the boat.
before it was like maybe we'll make one gigantic step, forward,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and like our strategy has changed. Is hey, we're not gonna make these giant leaps anymore. Is like, but we'll make small steps forward. I mean, we you know, we do have missteps going back, but it's small steps backwards, right? So it's, and the eventual goal is like here, you know, 3 months down we're here.
That's interesting.
3 months down we're here, right? And so the reason I'm explaining this is the rework.
Oh, that's so nice, Maddie. Thanks for connecting with Crook. Congratulations, Crook.
Right? And so the thing was,
thanks
like,
everyone for hanging out while we waited for the stream to get off the ground.
I'll be very honest.
I agree.
I think the team did a great job with the challenge that
Yay, Crook gets a bag.
Honestly,
Thanks, Maddie. Again, thank you. Thanks, guild leader.
I think they did a really good job, except it was just a super hard challenge to begin with, right? And so the thing is like, oh, because off the space, like, there's so many ideas now. It's like,
have a good rest, buddy.
But it was like, dude,
good night, buddy.
We're gonna do a 3-month roadmap right now. Is like all those ideas to come to fruition. I look at it as, you know, I have to be a manager. It's like,
so nice.
Dude, I got to cut so much of that right now. Is that then what actually gets put out with that? So, you know, to be honest, like the simple thinking was like, oh, island, tropical island, summertime, that'll be the best. It was like,
the testing is like, oh, this is so different.
Yeah, but
what?
So, yeah, the quick 30 answer, no, there's nothing in the short timeline. But once we get this done, is like, hey, maybe next summer is like, you know, hey, let's return to the beaches and let's have, you know, we have
the beach game and dark and darker,
making this much more exciting. We already had the settings and everything set for the you know, when you go down the
the whirlpool.
Whirlpool. And so let's see. So I guess this upcoming year is like finding our pace. And then once we find that pace, is like, oh, okay, what can we actually realistically accomplish? And then hopefully next year, that kind of stupid, simple thinking of summertime, let's go revisit the islands, maybe we can make that a reality.
Yeah. All right, so we do have a few other pretty big announcements for this.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So, SDF, we do have a new project. The second project for Ironmace has officially started in the works.
Second project for Ironmace?
That's out there now. Do you want to talk about that just a little bit?
New project.
뭐 프로젝트에 대해서 지금 당장 I don't mention about the actual project. What was that? Yeah, what is that? But 이거는 한글로 설명할게요. 조금 복잡하니까. 예. 근데 잘
What the fuck?
예, 좀 어려울 수 있어서 어떻게 할까요? 그냥 영어로 얘기해 볼까요?
해보고.
Let's try again in English. I think well, you guys know. I always try to something new and big because I really want to expanding our border. Yeah. Because this game is so good. I mean, Dark and Darker. But I still thinking like it needs some little more system or features or new something because there are so many competitors and so many good games. Then and we need to positioning up, we finding our position.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I took spent a lot of time, I think, about the experiment. When we was try to semi-wipe and semi-wipe, then try to lead the solos or something. Yeah, it was too harsh, I think. Yeah. Then we decided, and we learned a lot of things from that. But we decided, okay, the experimenter is over. Then we just keep our sustainability or something. And then we walk through the 2 seasons, season 7 and season 8. I think we are in that place. It's more stable than before.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Then then I think my personality and my power is going to little smaller than this project because because I still try to new things and more experiment. But Dark and Darker and the it's not that pace because it's a live subs game. Yeah. Then I
do feel I feel like now that we're stabilizing is like I feel more like you can't do being handcuffs. And we don't want that, right? I think that's a big behind the story, behind the scenes thing too.
Yeah, and this company and this game Dark and Darker, I think there is some.
He's off the project.
How can I explain these things? Some bad tags from the opposite.
So
the reputation is not good.
이거는 한국말 해도 될 것 같아.
Because of the legal fight or something. Then I really wanted to show our actual power. We can make a good game. More and more.
이거를 조금 so
this
a
is
little bit of
fucked,
background
guys.
because we do have the legal fight. It's still ongoing, but now because there's more clarity.
That's why
but unfortunately that recent decision that came out in December was like, oh, hey, there was some trade secret infringement that went on.
This is fucked.
And to us, it's like that's
It's actually
super
good.
disappointing
Totally
because we're just like,
You're
dude,
right.
that makes no sense. Like they don't have
I
any,
know, legal fight.
There's no evidence for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait,
Yeah.
So what happened,
This.
especially in Korea, is like the branding happened is once that came down from the court, is like, oh, this game is no longer something that came out of STF's mind, right? The creativity, and which is total BS, right? And so there's a little bit of that fire. It's like, F you guys, I'll show you what I could, like, if, the whole. If that's the narrative, is like I'll show you again, right? And I think there's that fire that got
exactly. That's why I decided to make some new game, but this game will using the Dark and Darker IP. Then how can I explain? I handover. I will hand over the director role, the Dark and Darker director role to Terry, and I decided make some co-director who Paul and who Jinho, who our server master.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He will try to help us in the back end.
So that was a big thing, is that because of that kind of
He fired himself,
knowing that, hey, okay, how can I
Big W.
do the full potential of like show my creativity.
Bro got fired.
And it's like, hey, and then also with him building and showing us, hey, the stability. Now we are stabilizing. It's like,
SDF.
I feel a little bit more comfortable. Is that even if I
think he's just I got it. He's trying to say, fuck you guys. I can make a game. I'll show you I can make a game. Everyone thinks I copied this game.
And he wasn't.
I'll show you I can make a game. I'll show you my true power.
Make this happen, right? But what he's saying is,
but don't worry too much and don't happy too much. Don't, because I'm not going anywhere. I just oversight this project because I'm the CEO of this company. And then I will oversee the two actual projects and personally involve a little more the new project.
So the official announcement we wanted to do was that there is a official role change now going on. So Paul and I will be taking over as directors of Dark and Darker.
Yes.
Okay. And then SDF is taking on, he's still the CEO of the company and he's still the executive producer of the entire franchise and the game itself. And it's basically now, instead of handling everything from top down, it's like, oh, he's the commanding general now, right? So he's focused more on the high level strategy, and then
like a marketing or the console launch,
and
or
then
something.
The major features, where the day-to-day, the gritty, the tactical stuff is that now Paul and I are in charge of that, right? And then so this has been like in the works, when he was talking about.
I can see why they didn't lead with this.
Back at
this is not a thing that you lead with, right?
Last year. This is when the kind of maybe it's time. And then when the lawsuit result came out. He's like, okay.
It is graceless.
But
Can you
at the
explain
same
why,
time,
Georgie? Explain.
You know, thankfully for me,
Just
it's
give me
like
a little more
he didn't want
how
to
you
hand
feel
over
about this.
like if it was like a car, right? He didn't want to hand over a car that has like a broken transmission. You know, it's like at the very least, it's like, hey, now it's stable. It has 4 wheels and it's driving. You know, and so that was the thing. It was like, oh, okay,
What?
And that's kind of the situation, and we wanted to announce this. I think that's the big thing. So he's not going anywhere, guys. Right? He's still here. He's still our boss. He's still the, you know.
He's still our
like,
boss.
You know,
It
he's
does feel
already
messy.
like, as you've seen, there's all those commandments that have already come down that we have to do. So sorting is going in.
We have to do.
You know, not because Paul and I wanted it, because STF says, hey, if sorting's not in there, you guys are in big trouble. You know.
No.
Yeah. So.
And I will clarify just a little bit for the players who might be concerned. So this new announcement is not taking away from Dark and Darker. We have actually brought in a few new people in-house to help focus on the new project. Literally less than a handful of Dark and Darker team has moved to the new project. It will make a tiny impact, but nothing major. We brought in
It already solved.
Yeah, a lot of it. So a lot of this was actually going on in the background too. So
We are starting at the handover, this handover in February, in early February.
yeah. So
EA 시즌 8까지는 제가 이거를 다 지휘했고
Yeah.
그 이후에 라이브 서비스부터는 이제 폴 테리님이 할 수 있도록 우리가 체제를 바꾸고
that's why I
있었어요.
lost all my hair, got age, but
그래서 지금은 이제 잘 바뀐 상태고 잘 돌아가고 있는 상태라고 생각합니다.
So-
I'm happy with that.
yeah. So the reality of it was this
Cobalt
like,
again,
today
very
is the
good.
actual announcement, but then the plan that SF put in motion was actually started even earlier. So you know, the last couple hot fixes, we flew solo. You he was like, okay, good job, guys.
Thank you, Georgie.
Don't F it up. And so,
Okay.
yeah.
네, 그래서 신규 프로젝트는 아마 지금 정확하게 얘기하기는 좀 힘들지만
Yeah, it's hard to give details about the new project right now. But
다크앤다커 IP를 활용할 거예요.
Yeah.
네, 그래서 다크앤다커 플레이어들이 좀 익숙할 수 있는
What IP?
게임일 가능성이 매우 높습니다.
it's going to build on the Dark and Dark IP.
franchise. We can do it again.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, we have all that faith in SCF though. Yeah.
It's a super cool idea. So
Yeah.
It's a super cool
Okay,
idea.
So that was a big announcement.
Okay. Nothing. Nothing else.
so,
What's the IP? They just fucking
that was
pick
actually part
things
of the
from
reason
the
why
asset
we
store.
wanted to
No.
have this tavern table so spontaneous. We wanted to break the news already, but yeah, we are super happy everyone was able to join us for this. We will be doing more every wipe, like I said. This was our first time. I know we had a little bit, like the camera angle's a little bit weird. The audio might not be the best, but I hope it was good enough for everyone and it was clear. But yeah, thank you again so much for all the support. We're really glad that everybody was able to join us today. And thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah. Paul, can you still breathe all right?
Are you okay? Are you okay with that?
Maybe.
It looks so happy.
You want to show off your arming sword? 그거 있잖아요.
Show your
My sword.
Let them show your long sword. Yeah, long sword or ramming sword.
He definitely
I
does.
don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, so
Okay.
by the way, this is real. This is real. This helmet's like 3 kg or something. It's
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, we borrow
Armor sword.
we lent it. Yeah, we lent it.
He literally drove to like this other town in the
Very hard.
It's super heavy.
Okay.
couple hours away to accrue that. So.
Okay.
But, yeah, actually, So Bad Strange announced this on Reddit. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So,
Yay.
raid So Bad Strange. So,
Thanks.
Thank you so bad. Thank you
Here's
so
the
bad.
raid. W raid.
all right.
Thanks everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
all so much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Holy
All right,
F.
everybody. See you soon.
Holy F.
See you soon.
Okay. Bathroom break. I'll be right back, okay? W raid. first time we've seen them raid. There's a lot to talk about, guys. BRB. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about this. Takeaway notes. Top notes. I'm just going to write this down before I lose it. Like this. We know there are a bunch of features that you guys were excited about and or that we've been promising and teasing for many months, but we don't have any money or can't make those things a priority. That's kind of like the main gist of this, right? There's a lot of like, hey, the thing that you've been asking for or the thing that's been coming soon for many years is just probably never gonna happen. We don't have any money, right? They never elaborated. You think SDF... Now, he's not leaving. He's not leaving. That's not correct. He's still part of the company. He's still the boss. He still has the preeminent strategic decision and the final say on game direction. But he is letting go of more of the day-to-day, top to bottom. He's putting put in daycare. They didn't elaborate on anything. They just stated things and left. It's true. It's weird, right? There was a lot of kind of like... I'm going to come back to this top list. There was a lot of... kind of the introduction of a topic. They said the talking point, and then there was no kind of elaboration, right? Dev talk. Okay, let's go through the list that I have. There are some things that are going to be worth recapping and other things we can skim past. Okay, but we'll start here. no matter what, definitely, Season 8, people are sticking around. Okay, Season 8 has been good, and he said we're almost safe. There's a lot of really strange things that when Terrence just kind of speaks off the cuff, like the language that he picks, I think infers or insinuates kind of maybe more than he wants to. There's a note that how the retention rate is better. And the retention rate is almost more important than the player number. Or at least they put more of a weight on it. Yeah, player count is in ways less important than retention. Player retention is in many ways more important than player count. I thought that was interesting. Apology, excuse, laugh. That's kind of it. I think there will be negative feedback from this one. It seems like they are telling each other to stop talking or get nervous. Player count can be inflated with marketing, so retention is more important, of course, yes. Play the trailer for Ad Mortem at some point, by the way, it looks really cool. Retention rate matters since ads mean nothing if the players don't stick around. That's true. That's true. Free to play, the conversion to legendary counts as well. 2025 was a rough year. We still have a long way to go, but we're finally turning the corner. We're not going to get caught by too many detours. I got the sense that Terrence is obviously more of a business person than SDF, right? SDF is a developer first, a business person second. And maybe SDF really forced the issue with, you know, this, and this kind of leads into the big announcement at the end, which is also kind of a weird nothing burger. Like, it's a huge announcement. It was kind of a half announcement where SDF is like moving on, but not. He's doing another project, but he's still overseeing Dark and Darker. Like, it was this weird halfway out the door thing, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We're not going to get caught by too many detours. You get the sense that there was a lot of wasted time on a map nobody likes, on a bunch of weird changes to the game that gutted the player base, right? Removing solos, etc. Terrence said a couple times that 1.0 is my dream. I wonder if there is some... And Terrence is the money guy. So I wonder what is the financial incentive to get there? Like, is it kind of like we get to 1.0, we get to a point where the game is stable enough, we can release it, and then if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, we can move on? I wonder. Head of the company but not lead on Dad. I wonder if they did that to alleviate the negative opinions around Dad. This is often the case when there is a change to executive leadership. It is kind of a branding exercise. We'll get that. I mean, that is the juiciest thing of this whole talk. They talked about arena. They talked about wipe stability. They talked about like a wipe schedule, but there wasn't a lot of like really concrete, like, hey, like announcement stuff, except for this kind of SDF thing. And even that wasn't like fully concrete, right? He also talked a lot about console. Terrence is focused on 1.0 and console. We're out of experimenting, right? And then, of course, when we see more retention, it means that we can start putting more money into marketing. They didn't say what the marketing was going to be. Yeah. They talk so much, but say so little. It's true. 1.0 will have a massive player surge like Steam release ID, I imagine. A bunch of big streamers will likely play, or at least that's what they're hoping for. I see. And also, console is also just dollar signs, right? Console is dollar signs. Okay, a bunch of topics were covered. Season 8 is going well. They are feeling better, way better than 2025. Cosmetics are required to maintain the game, he says. Terry is a gross sales guy, holy crap. Be like Paul. Paul is a guy who bought all the cosmetics. There's going to be a cosmetic adjustment so that the illumination diminishes in the dark when you're motionless. Kind of like faithfulness. If you're a cleric and you have faithfulness, your mace will glow when you're moving around, but if you stay still, that glow goes away eventually. Okay. You can tell. You can tell. It's so weird that there's no money. We've got no money for stuff, but we have money for side projects. It's really strange. But you get the sense that times are tight. Okay, times are tight. Arena is popping. I think it's because the dungeon is kind of like, it's just, people don't like to die and lose all their shit, right? The game, it's a statement on how bad the dungeon balance can be, right? People don't want to sweat to build up a rogue kit and then die immediately to 2 hits from a barb, right? I'll be honest, delaying the bundle on the skins feels like an intentional decision to make people pay full price. That's true. It's absolutely true. I hear people jumping ship. To where, though? It's the same pile of money. Even if SDF and a small internal pod are working on something on the side, that's not... They're still drawing from the same source of money. You know what I mean? Arena is popping because I think the dungeon experience, people have lost a lot of interest in that. It's easier, it's more brain dead, it's less effortful. It still takes money, you gotta buy your consumables, I understand. But like, the stakes, there's no stakes. You're competing for a shitty rank, right? Like, and I mean, from my POV, who cares, right? Like, different people are motivated by different things, but I like this game because it was a full loot dungeon extraction game. It wasn't some shitty Counter-Strike game, right? I don't want to play shitty Counter-Strike, but that's just me. Apparently Arena is popping, but I think that's because people are just disinterested in the Arena experience. There's a lot of talk about the issues with the top 100 spots for the Warlords, and people getting to the top spots and then parking that character. So the 4 main changes, if you care about Arena, is they're making it so that they're getting rid of the duplicate characters. If your account has 2 characters that are top 100, they're going to clean up the duplicate. They're thinking about implementing a rank decay system. They're thinking about tuning the MMR adjustments to make it easier for you to gain MMR if you're playing as a solo. If you're playing as a pre-made team, you have an advantage. You're playing with a dedicated team with better comms, right? A dedicated team comp. It's harder to go in as a random solo and climb the ranks. So they're making an adjustment to better reward solos in Arena. And they're extending the MMR range so it's easier for you to play with your friends. You don't need to be as tight in your ranking to team up. New Dean Rocket Hall. Arenas would be better solo. Rank decay system is long overdue, yes. The weird thing is about this whole thing, they're focusing on this 100-person arena tournament. Like, who that... It shows, it indicates the devs' priorities, right? It's so cliquey. How many thousands and thousands of people play this game? Okay? But all of this effort, all this focus on something that is only relevant to like 100 people, it just seems weird. And there's a kind of elitism that I think they all have. It's not about Gen Pop. They don't care. They're not focusing on the experience of new players, right? They're not focusing on it. It's so, the dungeon experience hasn't changed forever. I think people are over the tedious nature of going through the same experience. There is no exploration for old players. This is true. Arena cuts the fluff. This is true. This is true. You can shoot black tar heroin, right? And you get used to that. And you get used to the black tar. You get used to this kind of drawn out dose of whatever it is. Just put the Fetty in your eye, right? Just put the Fetty right in your eye is what Arena is. People are burned out on it, on the dungeon. I think that's exactly right. This whole thing seems really weird. This thing seems weird. Boof it, right? Like, who cares about the top 100 Arena players? You know? You're talking about how you have no money, and you're trying to sell cosmetics to keep the lights on. The top 100 Arena players are not going to give you enough money to maintain the game, right? It's so weird. The whole time they were talking, it's like, dudes, this is not the player base. It's because the only people left playing the game are these crusty Arena husks, right? There's absolutely no way someone who joins Dad at the start of the season would have even the slightest chance of reaching top 100 Arena. It's all just word vomit. Anyway, so I thought this was a really interesting kind of non-verbal, but like a non-verbal indication of where their focus is, their priorities. Like these are Tarkov Arena guys. Like the only reason that Dad has an Arena is because I know for a fact that Grayson was like a spreadsheet level, like Tarkov optimizer, right? The top 100 players want riposte on every weapon removed. The top 100 Arena players will leave negative reviews and tell everyone how bad the game is while the devs grovel. It's so... I wonder how many RMT guys are in the top 100 Arena? I don't know. Like, it requires an execution, a skill of execution. You can't necessarily buy your way to the top. I just see a game in a state ready to be purchased, and they will seem to keep it that way until they get an offer. Oh, this is very interesting. I never thought about the exit strategy. That's what it is. Thank you. Think about this as a business owner. You own the IP. You want off the ride, okay? You thought you were absolutely fucked in 2025 because you were just hemorrhaging players, right? And you had this dickhead partner who wanted to remove solos and do all this like dumb shit water combat, right? And everything that he did just cost the game more and more players. But Terrence, the way out is this. You get the game to a stable point. You invest the game. Once you have a little more retention, you invest in more marketing. You bump up the player numbers a little bit. You make the game seem profitable and stable. And then you fucking sell the company. You sell the business, right? You get rid of it. And then you get your payday, you get your cash out, and you move on, right? Interesting. Interesting to think of it that way. You sell it to Nexon, right? So the same story as DayZ, like I was saying. Give it the old flipper special. We turn the corner and we want to just keep going straight now, right? Right out the exit. Right out the investor exit. That's what I was trying to get at. You see the writing on the wall. You drop further investment into the game and move it to another project and hope someone else buys it. At least 50k for a purple ring with 4 magic power, magic heal. I wonder how much arena kits cost in RMT. Yes, but like that extra 1 point of magical healing, I don't think is going to make a material difference against someone who is technically superior at combat. There's a difference between... There's a cost difference between like regular BIS and like fucking turbo, right? And you pay out the ass for turbo BIS. And I don't think it guarantees the win. I don't think in arena. A sell-it would be bad for us. Companies are bought as tax write-offs and they must let it die. At this point, I want Dark and Dark to succeed. But at this point, the game has become a shambolic version of itself, right? That when the game was younger and it had more of like there was more open field and we could all see the ways the game could be better, right? the game has been kind of festering now, right? That, you know, the spell has been a bit broken. Maybe crowdfund the purchase? Yeah, right. And then who's gonna take it over? I agree with you. Gear definitely helps, but skill and class matchups is 1,000 times more important. Again, I don't play the arena that much. I just wet my beak, right? I have a thimble of experience in that game mode. It's been pulled off life support. Now it's just time. Okay. Dual boss room POIs. They're talking about extending the session time. I think they're cognizant of the fact that the session time is too short, which is good. They're talking about implementing a dual boss room for ruins, but to do so requires people to want to fight the Banshee. And currently, right now, nobody wants to fight the Banshee because it's probably the worst boss in the entire game, right? Of all like 6 or 7 bosses, however many friggin' bosses there are, 8 or 9 bosses, Banshee is definitely the worst one. So a Banshee hotfix will be there, slightly increase the session time, and that'll get a dual boss room in ruins. So for the people that are, you know, completely stretched out on the game and they only want to fight other players that have good gear, then you go to the dual boss room in the ruins, just like you do in Goblin Caves, right? They don't drop artifact either. There's really no incentive. Yes, true. Manta Ray exists. Yeah. Yeah, and the hardest dad lifer coper streamers were trying to learn and make Stingray a fun fight, and it just never was, right? No, Stingray is the second worst boss in the game. Convince me otherwise. I guess maybe the payout, there's a reason to farm it, I guess, because it actually gives you something. Banshee gives you like a poem. Isn't there's like a poem drop? Anyways, more stability in season 8, more stability in wipe cycles going forward. 3-month, ideally the plan is they want a 3-month wipe cycle, including a wipe at the end of April, which is welcome news because the economy for this season is totally shot, right? And the game does better when there's more frequent wipes. I do believe. We saw it in season 7, felt so long. The season was so old, right? The challenge, and I guess they address this too, is that if you have more frequent wipes, there's the expectation for more content. And that puts the pressure on the cosmetic team, on other game dev teams to, you know, tune up classes, to design new classes, to expand or overhaul maps. A season wipe usually has the expectation for there to be also a big content release paired with that. And we might not see it if they're looking to do more regular wipes. And I'm fine with that. If they stick to just kind of like class updates and they keep tuning the core base of the game, you don't need crazy amounts of content to make the wipe viable, I don't think. They didn't, you know, they say that we have more visibility into road mapping and planning. They really didn't talk about a lot, did they? I thought they were going to show the roadmap, right? We need a bidet. If you collected like 10 sonnets and sold on Requiem release, it's like 150k. Is that a lot of money? Is that a lot? I don't know. That's like 6 troll pelts. Road map, straight road. Do you need a map if the road is straight ahead? Do you need a map if there are no detours? I'm desperate for monk. Yeah. I mean, I would choose like a comprehensive update for all core classes over monk in a heartbeat every time. You hoping for skill tree or subclass? Was there any kind of groundbreaking announcement today? I had to step away for a while. We'll get there at the end, Moss. There kind of is, but there was really not much. Every time they add a class, it's a disaster. No thanks. It's true. Monk is... They didn't even talk about Monk, right? They didn't even mention it. It's very interesting, right? They know their limitations. Honestly, it really is kind of buckle down, make what we have good, get to 1.0, get us the fuck out of here. But instead we got neither. Huh. This isn't very, there's a lot of between the lines stuff here, right? there's a lot of between the lines stuff. We have more visibility into road mapping and planning. Strategy-wise, we can actually set the pace. Let's make wipes more predictable. Maybe make them every 3 months. We're feeling more comfortable. Can I make this bigger? Ooh, here we go. This helps. This helps you guys. It's brighter, but this is the price we pay, okay? The price we pay. Even bigger. Let's try. Even bigger. How about this? A little more accessible, right? It's brighter, but I'll make it less tall. Maybe less bright. I'm sorry, guys, but this is it. Yeah, early access season 7 was more extended. They're keen to avoid the player attrition that I'm sure they had disastrous metrics at the end of season 7. Are you kidding? Okay. The Gathering Hall was SDF's baby. 1 second here. The end of April wipe is a lot closer than I would like. Interesting. We're just starting, don't worry. On the plus side, water map expansion shelved until future notice. They also didn't mention the Ranger and Rogue skills and perks additions. They did not, right? There was a lot of, hey, we know there's a bunch of things that you guys were excited about, that we've been planning or promising or teasing for many months, but we don't have any money to make those things a priority, right? That was the kind of main message. That was the main message. The Gathering Hall was SDF's baby. To be honest, we're heartbroken. We tried to make it as fun as possible, but the price for servers was so high, was not sustainable. It would put us out of business. It's not canceled yet, is what they said. Service cost for running the game is substantial. We've entered a more mature phase, which means we're trying to run the game stably. We're not taking risks, we're not doing detours, right? We want to think about getting to 1.0. So we're stopping experimenting. It needs to be sustainable. So when extraneous costs come into view, aka the social space, extraneous costs, they make the game not feasible. We're working on a party finder system as a small piece, as a first step. As a small first step. Okay? As a way to partition out costs. This isn't a bad sounding system. Okay, but it's not a gathering hall. A small starting social feature that allows for more open comms with the people in your party, so you can chat and discuss. You don't have to be on the main lobby screen to chat with the people in your party. You can be on different screens. You can be in the market. You can be in your stash assembling a kit, right? This might be the longest first step in history. It's always a first step with these guys. It really, really is. But there's like a party finder system, different player types. Maybe someone wants to kill the wyvern, but I don't have the skills. Make a system to encourage people to meet up and make a party based on a shared party goal, right? Based on a shared party goal. And then you can go a step further. In the future, players can make requests for other players. A kind of bounty system. For help with bosses, etc. Hey, help me learn how to fight the Stingray. I'll pay you 1,000 gold, basically. I'm done with most of them each season, but having the wipe more often is more annoying, more quests, more homework, kind of. It's true, but it's a trade-off. Xerxes, I totally hear you. The downside, let me put this away. It's too bright. The downside of faster wipes okay, I will do that, Clippy. Thank you. The downside of faster wipes is that, you know, the quests are not always fun, right? It can be kind of like, it can be exhausting to boot back up again at the start of another season. If that's happening 4 times a year, that's a lot. But the downside of having a season go on for too long is the gear gap becomes insurmountable. There's a very substantial player count drop off the deeper you go into the season. It's like the game feels worse. Like, there's always the most energy at the start of the season. Yeah, the quests for killing mobs or bosses are fun. You just do them. But going to locations and finding items is so boring. I agree. They need to reduce the amount of fetch quests. It's exhausting. Yes. Faster wipes is good and bad. I don't play enough to start with nothing. In Squire is annoying. Yes. Only sweats cry about long seasons. If I have to stand the goddamn gatekeep quest 4 times a year, I'm gonna cry. Yeah. I don't know. I think the game always feels better, closer to wipe. If they tune the quests, then it's better. The quests right now suck, and that's what makes the wipe feel like work. But if the quests are easier to do, and they just kind of they kind of time box them like they already are, they have a time box, like a gated drip, drip, drip of quests, but they make the quests easier, then that's probably the sweet spot, right? It's not the wipe we are looking forward to, it's content. I don't know. Yes and no. I'm happy to play the game. I'm happy to play the game if the game is feeling good, if combat is feeling good. That is enough for me. Not hopeful for a 3D social tavern space for many wipes, guys. We can basically... Oh, it's so sad. This made me... This kind of stunned me. They're giving up on it, basically. Needs actual quest lines. The time gates are trash. Can't the sweats just take a break when they max out? They shouted at Iron Guard thanks to all the... There's like a giant volunteer workforce, right? The wardens, the scribes, the Iron Guard. Terry thinks that the Dark and Darker gameplay could transfer to console. I think he's just a money guy that sees dollar signs, right? If we're honest, the first-person nature of Dark and Darker, first-person games never feel better on console. It never feels better. Compared to the articulation, the speed, and the accuracy you get from mouse and keyboard. How can you draw any comparison? There is no comparison. People were saying that the combat in Dad is basic enough that it could be good, and I agree that Dad has a very straightforward kind of skill system. The combat is pretty straightforward. The majority of combat in this game really is just stat checking, right? Is face trading, is stat checking. But there are so many instances of people whipping their mouse around, right? Like, to avoid ranged shots, to hit and get out of the way of melee, to prevent damage when they hit a block, right? There's some very like frame perfect crazy mouse movements that console can in no way replicate or achieve, right? There's a major difference. And maybe unless you completely separate the player base for console versus PC, I don't know. Quick looting on console wouldn't work? True. Can't do that Matrix BS on a controller. I feel like a good amount of any console people they pull are going to look for Arena more than standard Dad. Fair. You can already play with a controller in Dad. God, it's horrible. Yeah. But it's a huge addressable market, right? The number of people that only have a console system, right, is massive. And it's just another attractive metric if you're trying to sell the game, right? Yeah, no crossplay. We'll see. Skill tree and or subclass system, multi-class execution was an issue. Yes. They want to do something less traditional, challenge ourselves design-wise, but they're putting it on hold because our process updates internally. If we did a basic system, we can get it out earlier. We can see it in the future. Yeah, maybe. So there was kind of like they kind of, it seems like they are lumping the skill tree or subclass system kind of in with like a detour, right? They see it also as a detour or a time sink right? It's not foundational to the game, and they have shelved it in favor of updating their internal processes as they get things more stable internally. Maybe if they did a basic system, they could get it out earlier. We can see it in the future. Yeah, maybe. They also made a comment about how the skill trees, SDF doesn't like the idea of skill trees that enable metas, right? Can you run a recap? I missed it. That's what we're doing, Hugh. That's what we're doing. Console is a more casual player base, in my opinion. I'm not sure how that would fit in with this game. Perfect for a game like Ark, but I don't know about Dad. I played with controller. It's not bad. I played Fighter. The controls made sense, but the looting with a joystick to inventory does need improving. But it works. I can't say for casters. I haven't tried. Absolutely need to split the servers between console PC. There's already desync issues on just PC. That's true. He really doesn't like metas. There's already metas, right? There's already metas. I think that was a bit of a maybe like SDF kind of indicating he doesn't completely understand the state of the game, like in the dungeon. But there's a resistance to skill trees because SDF thinks that they contribute to the establishment or the entrenchment of certain metas. Fine. My main takeaway from this first half of the devcast was that it was possible to speed the execution of things like cosmetics, right? It seems it's always possible for them to focus on the things that make the money, right? But the skill trees, the social space, the expansion to religion, all these things are always there's always an excuse to kind of push them back and not prioritize them because they're just not money makers, right? They don't make any money. A skill tree doesn't make any money. The social space costs money. An expansion to religion is it's an interesting bit of complexion to the game. It doesn't make money, so you don't do it, right? What do you mean Rage Barber's not meta? They don't want metas, but they're always make sure 1 or 2 classes are broken at wipe. It's true. Right now, there's no plan to expand religion. The intention behind it was more social. They wanted to see people like teaming up in the dungeon to fight people that were in another religion. It's really strange how you have people, you have like a unpaid workforce to try to like prevent teaming, right? But then you also have a system of identification that was designed to encourage people to team up and like fight and like isolate people that weren't in their religion. Very short-sighted, very strange. Religion is a hangover of the experimental phase, right? Of the experimental, SDF just does whatever he wants and no one says no, right? It's very strange. This is all the reason why there are no short-term plans to expand the religion system. Just a passive buff. I guess that means they failed. Religion is going up on the shelf, right? We just put that high up on the shelf and it's part of the game, but, you know, I would be surprised if we ever see any change to religion going forward. Not that it matters. Any more minor artifact events in the future? Again, timing and focus of resources. Once we get a handle on our resources, we can take a look at another minor artifact event. Boss rework. We're going to start with the Banshee. We're going to look for other uncomfortable boss mechanics. Interesting they said that. I think they acknowledge that maybe there are some other boss mechanics. Not entire bosses, but like some phases or some things that bosses do that are maybe a bit more annoying or cumbersome, and tune those in time. There was a part where they talked about the monster AI tuning, and there was kind of this weird internal chuckle about how the monster guy has like a black belt, right? So he knows, like, you know, he knows how to fight. And so that was, you know, that, don't worry guys, the monster guy has a black belt. I guess more, it was an acknowledgement at least that the player base is not satisfied with a lot of the mob AI. So many elements of the mob AI, of the monster design, are completely unchanged. since the very beginning, right? And it's once you learn the mobs, it is one of the most tedious. It's the reason why the dungeon experience is not good, right? I mean, even the mobs in Arena, nobody likes them. Nobody liked the elite mobs in Arena. So at least there's some recognition that monster AI, needs some more love. Maybe we'll see it. 2025 was a rough year. We have a long ways to go, but we're finally turning the corner. We're not going to get caught by too many detours. 1.0 is my dream. Console is a priority, okay? We're out of experimenting. We're out of the experimenting phase, which is cool. It means that, like, we as players can expect the game to settle a bit, okay? I think is what it means. We're out of money, right? The black belt comment was about them getting beat up if they push him around too much, not about the animations. Well, that sucks. Great. I need more money, guys. Can everyone take a second and send some money to Loopnays, please? We need more resources to finish some projects that we started and are like 15% finished, but we have resources to put into completely new endeavors. We'll get there. Save this comment, Charlie. Type this exact same thing in like 10 minutes, okay? It means that we're probably going to see a bit less bullshit, right? We're going to see more of a recentering around what is there, and that is a good thing, I think, because that is what's needed. Internally, our metrics are more steady. We're ready to pour money in. Right. With experimenting, you pour money in, you don't get a return. When you're bleeding players, when you're just throwing things at the wall, you don't get a return on investment. But now the weekly average retention metric is matching the honeymoon retention. Out of 8 seasons, this is a good sign. So we can start turning on the marketing. More people are sticking around, so we can expect that as people return to the game or are introduced to the game, people stick around. Here's the question about this. Again, this is between the lines. There is more weekly retention now in Season 8. But who is playing the game? The vets. The veterans. Is there going to be the same kind of retention for new players? If someone new comes into the game and takes a step into Bist out Crafted Blue Normals PvP, right? Sees that this is a PvP game. I like PvP, right? I like Melee. Let's try it out. I'm a new player. How do you play this game? You take 2 steps into Normals PvP. You get obliterated. You get atomized, right? You think, ugh, that wasn't very fun. I'm dead immediately, right? Let's try again. Okay, I got a decent kit on. I got some blues on my kit, right? I managed to hit a barbarian 7 times, right? Maybe he like hit the wall of the Bardiche. Maybe you ducked a shot. I hit the barbarian 7 times, okay? And then you still die to the barbarian, and then you look at the guy afterwards, and he lost 40% of his HP, and you realize that you had 0 chance to kill that guy, right? 0 chance. What kind of retention is there going to be for new players? This retention that we're seeing for Season 8, I think it are some returning players that are like, okay, this is better. This isn't like completely dog shit terrible. I'll stick around. But there's a difference. There's a difference between retaining existing players and having new people come into the game and stick around. We'll see. We'll see. Interesting, though, that player retention is a more important metric than player count. Very interesting. I learned something. 1.0 main wipe for people, they want to, I guess there's a lot of like, can I change my character name? A lot of people don't like the character names they picked 3 years ago, but you can't change them because you've got 1800 fame, on your warlock, on your fighter, but it's like... It's my real first name, last name, 1996, right? How do we play the game? SDF Squire to Riches, but there's a circle. I know you haven't found your campfire key yet, but get out of the zone if you can first. LOL, yeah. Learning dad PvP makes you feel like Sisyphus. Weapon parry riposte. Paul is happy with the parry system. There's still work to be done. Tuning animations are required. We're focused on improving. We're moving in the right direction. It's a level up of skill expression, I agree. Paul is working hard to balance and implement the new parry system. It still needs tuning. Should be new features for skill expression. Doesn't want something too new or complicated. Something more intuitive that doesn't need sweaty education. I think that they're saying all the right things. I trust Paul with this. Revision based on impact or a change to the chambering system. There could be a bigger change coming. I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about with the chambering system, but this is definitely not the end of the parry riposte system. And I think impact power, impact resistance is going to get an update as well. So I'm just going to hold my breath. I think that something sooner than later will happen for this, and I'm excited to see where they take it. Yesterday, I lost a 90% of my HP to a Bardiche Barb who hit me on accident as a PDR cleric. I was to the back right of him, just constantly smacking him, and he accidentally got me. That sucks. That's so dumb. They didn't talk about barbs at all. They didn't talk about barbs at all. Had to do inside spring cleaning. Then we can do new event world maps. Solo self-found is split internally. A very interesting cultural point here. Very interesting. Bit of cultural exposure here. Paul said that he thought the third week of solo self-found was tough. That there were balance issues. And I can see that. 3 weeks. I love it. I would love for the game to not have a market at all. But that's me. That's someone who loves the dungeon. That's someone who can win a lot of PvP fights even though I'm underpowered. Just because of the style of play that I enjoy. I can understand that a lot of people find solo self-found, especially the deeper it goes, to be more and more difficult. It still can't be anywhere as difficult as freaking pay-to-win arena BS. But Paul said the third week was tough, that there are balance issues, because I guess there is an extreme of people that have gear versus that have not, but still the market enables that too. What the fuck, Paul? Anyway, Terry says, I get why people are attracted to the mode. In our data, Western users are much more open to solo self-found. Eastern users prefer the market. There's an even divide, right? People in Asia have no problem paying for advantage. People in the West, a little more of a meritocracy, right? It's not that money drives everything. You go to Asia, what do you do at a shrine in Japan? You throw the money in, you pay coins, then you ring the bell, then you clap, clap. I'm gonna pay for the god's attention, right? You go to mainland China. You try to cross the road who here, one's in chat, if you've ever tried to walk across the road in mainland China. Okay, one's in chat. Probably not going to see that many ones. Guess what? In mainland China, the right of way goes to the vehicle. The right of way is not the pedestrian. The right of way is the vehicle, because they have the money to pay for a car. There's something weird about Asia, where Asia, it's like there's no illusion. In the West, money rules everything too. And people defer to rich people, and idiot rich people get to have their way, and no one calls them on it because everyone else wants to be rich too, right? But at least there's the illusion of a kind of societal, meritocracy, right? But in Asia, it's just you pay for everything. And having money is the most important thing, right? And so there's a very interesting divide. So it's no surprise that Eastern users prefer the market because, of course, you just pay for your power. You just pay. You don't need to earn anything, right? You optimize for the gold thing, and then you pay for power, and then you go in and you win, right? Just like real life. Just like if you have money, you can have a girlfriend, right? It's very, very interesting. And there's a very deep and not articulated feeling I have about the East-West divide here. But I thought that was very curious. If, Terrence said, they had 100,000 users, if they had 100,000 players, they would just make 2 game modes. They would make an Iron Man, solo self-found only game mode, right? And then they would make a market mode. but they don't have 100,000 players, right? They cannot split the player base. They don't have that player base. So they're going to keep Solo Self-Found as an early season event only. LOL, Westerners can get by with skill. Easterners need to use wealth. The state of the game is the result of the players. Gold and gear used to be harder to get and required skill to obtain. The game used to be very hardcore, now it's too easy. I think that's a good take. Crash. I agree. You're right. I remember the first time I ever got a pair of purple old shoes. It was the first epic piece of armor I ever saw in the game. They were purple old shoes. And I thought, holy fuck, get me out of here. Holy fuck, get me out of here. What's sad is if they had those two modes, they probably would have a larger player base. Very interesting that you say that. Purple old shoes, Lamau. That's true. And I remember it still. I remember it, right? A game used to be harder. Gold and gear used to be harder to get. You died more often. The mobs were harder. You had less heals. Required more skill to obtain. The game used to be very hardcore. Now it's too easy. Very interesting. The players complained that gear was too hard to get, so they made it easier. And now gear isn't special. Wow. Interesting. It was a purple wizard hat for me. I was ecstatic. I love that we remember these things. I love it. I love it. Finding gear was exciting and living with it. Yes. I can't stand the market. Me neither. I think it sucks. I think the market sucks. Goblins used to two-tap you. It's true. Oh, man. And so this is what I mean. Where the game has become this kind of like, not a perverted version of itself, but it's just like, it's been contorted. The game that we fell in love with is not the game that we have now. And so I'm almost at the point where it's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what they do to it, right? If they save the game, great. But like, there's gonna be another game that comes along that is better than this game, you know? And when that happens, right? Nothing helps you get over the pain of heartbreak and like in a previous partner in your life than a new, better partner, right? You get a new girlfriend and she is funnier and just more interesting than your old girlfriend, right? You forget about the old girlfriend. You got a new boyfriend who's more attentive, right? Who's a better cook, you know? Who likes more of the things that you like. And guess what? You forget about the old boyfriend, right? It's easy. And so we're at the point now where we're at this kind of stage of the breakup, or at least for me. I'm at this stage where like, yeah, like we're still, you know, we're in a relationship, but I'm not excited, right? I'm not excited. And all it takes is that new person to be like, hi. And I'm like, hi, you know? Hi. The players took a hardcore dungeon crawler with real risk and reward and turned it into an arcade game. STF just tried to make us happy and we met. Hey, this is probably the most based thing that I've read about the game, right? Players were whiny little bitches about it being a hard game, and the devs are just looking to make money. And they're like, I don't know, okay, if we, you know, will this make you happy? If we make it easier, will it make you happy? Right? Because it's a hard game. And like, oh, I don't want to play a hard game. It's too hard. Make it easier. And so you make it easier. It's like, yeah, the game's too boring. You know, make it fun. Okay, we'll give you arena. Is this fun? I don't know what's fun anymore. Oh, look, there's a new game. You know? It's true. SDF actively went against it. This is absolutely true. This is absolutely true. But I like the circle. Right? There's so many things that SDF did on his own volition that was completely in the face of all the feedback. I would kill to play the old dark, back when meds and gold and gear were hard to get, back when the game was actually dark and scary. When a blue coat made you rich, I had 6 capes in my... I thought I was king shit because I had 6 capes in my stash, right? Well, now the game wipes and I have like full epic kits for months. I have so much gear that I never use. My ADD friends. Unfortunately, the game will never be what it used to be. It's true. The game has lost its wonder, and we're all chasing that high. The game has been min-maxed in every aspect. People swarming Cape players in the pre-lobby. You would see a guy with a cloak and be like, holy crap, high rolling dude. Totally. There was a bench in the Goblin Caves, the 3x3 Goblin Caves, the corner module with the healing shrine, right? And the water down below with a little tunnel. There was a bench where like every 8 raids, there would be a cape on that bench. And if you could get there and you could survive that module and then get out of the dungeon, you had a cape, right? There's also the fact that we all understood the game so well now. Those early days were full of wonder because we were all so lost. It's true. Anyway, okay. No extension to the water map anytime soon. We're almost done here, guys. There's a plan to do it. To steady the boat, make eventual progress, not trying to make giant leaps anymore. Maybe next summer. Terrence was like, yeah, he had this kind of vision of like, it's nice on the beach. I don't think Terrence likes a dark, scary game. Terrence wants to be on the beach, guys. Terrence is a money guy, okay? He's a sales guy. He wants to be in the Turks and Caicos, right? He wants to be in fucking Tahiti. Terrence doesn't want to be in a shitty Korean office building trying to make a bad game fun again, right? Terrence wants to exit. Terrence wants to be on a boat, right? Wet and wetter. Terrence wants to get wet and wetter, right? Terrence wants that coconut flavored rum or whatever. No, it's good. You're good, Lily. He wants to sell us bikini beach skins. There's no way they can walk it back. I hear you, Crash. I'm with you. A harder game, in my opinion, is more fun, but we're a special breed. If they reverted the loot drops, if they gave everyone less HP, if they made the mobs hit harder, right? There's no way. Zombie skin in a bikini. You mean that dwarf in a banana hammock? That dwarf has got a third leg, guys. Okay, here's the big news. This is the end. They were kind of building up to this announcement, right? They could have, until this point, all the things they talked about were kind of nothing burger, right? And I was like, what was the point of this? And it wasn't until the very end where they kind of like built up to this big announcement, right? There's a new project, a second project for Ironmace, okay? SDF said, in his English words, he used his English mouth, I want to make something big. I always want to do something big, okay? That was a problem with Dark and Darker because I would try to do big things, but my experiments were too aggressive. They were too big. There was too much shock for things like removing solos, or for removing the random rolls on gear, or for making water combat, or for etc., right? SDF's ideas are too big for our little gamer minds, okay? And that was a problem for the game's success. That was a problem for Terrence's anxiety levels as he watched the player count and the retention just drop and drop and drop and drop, right? Too much shock. But SDF loves to do big things. Now in Season 8, we're more stable. I think, personally, and my power, SDF says, my power, is I want to try new things and experiment. Not the place for my focus. Dark and Darker as an established title, as a bit of established IP, is no longer the place for my experimental power, my big ideas. The stability that Dad needs is handcuffs for me, okay? Also, the reputation is not good. Legal troubles. There was something about the reputation of Ironmace and of SDF as a developer in Korea specifically, okay? I think he's been pegged, right? He's been pegged as a guy who stole a game. And that has been proven in court to be not correct, right? Total exoneration, no politics. But SDF is on the road to total exoneration. He did not steal the game, okay? But still, he can't shake the stink, right? He's got the stink of a man who stole a game. And he's made a game that wasn't his ideas, okay? Next game on the line is Morgenstern. He's going fourth dimensional. He wants to show his true power. He wants to show that he can make a good game, okay? So that's why I decided to make a new game. I'll show you. SDF says, frick you guys, I'll show you I can make a game. That's why I decided to make a new game. I will hand over the Dark and Darker director role to Terrence and also make Paul a co-director. And there's another server guy who's going to help out. They're being promoted, kind of. And SDF is still going to call the shots and be the strategic general and issue commandments from up on high about Dark and Darker. But he's not going to be involved in day-to-day activities. Okay? Don't be too happy, he says. He knows we hate his guts. He knows that we have no respect for him, right? He knows we think that he's a fucking clown, and he is. Okay? But don't be too happy. I'm not going anywhere, he says. I'll oversee both projects. Okay? And personally involved in the new project. So there's an official rule change. Paul and Terrence are the dad directors. SDF is still the CEO and the executive producer of the franchise and the game. He's the commanding general. He's in charge of marketing strategy, etc. He's still our boss, says Terrence, and we have to do what he says. Okay? Very hierarchical society, Korea. Don't take it lightly. It is militaristic. It is hierarchical, right? It is based on your age in a lot of ways. SDF is the boss. But SDF is focused on a new project, a new game that builds on the Dark and Darker IP on the franchise. It's a super cool idea, but we have no other information. Okay? Paul and Terry equals dad, SDF equals mom. And mom's got the last say, right? Don't worry, guys, I'm still God. I'm not going anywhere. You'll see when my solo album comes out. So the takeaway here is this. We have no money for stuff. We have no money for things like the guild hall or for skill trees or for the development of other long promised features. We have no money for those things. But we have money to let SDF kind of fuck off and work on a side project, right? Any guesses? The commandment on high garbage? I know. Any guesses? Who wants to be the one who snipes? We've been training for this, guys. Our trivia games, our close-up trivia games. We've been training snipers. Who is gonna... Morgenstern is actually his game. What is it? What is it? Come on, chat. Right? No wonder they need funds if the money is split into two games. Space extraction game. We are low on funds. Let's start a new project. He's gonna shit out. So here's my question. If it's based on the Dark and Darker intellectual property, right? If it's based on what does Dad actually have? The artifacts? I guess? 90% of Dark and Darker is an asset flip, is it not? Water map the game. Open world MMORPG in first person, I think. Unreal Asset Source sim game. He's making a Dark and Darker inspired roguelike card game. Lock in. I'd play that. I'd play the shit out of that. I would spend money. I have not spent money. I have not given any money to Ironmace since the summer of 2024. It's been 2.5 years. I've never paid for a shared stash tab. I've never bought redstone shards. I've never bought a cosmetic. I've only used bluestone shards. I haven't given any money to this bloody company in a long time. I would pay for a Dark and Darker inspired roguelite card game. No shot. It's a RPG MMO. They don't have the funding. It's true. I bet it'll be a single player game. Doesn't have the funding, so they want more. Gacha and gacha game incoming. Aha. Dad Battle Royale, I'm calling it, with a fucking circle, right? But I like the circle. Gotcha also, right? Anyways. What a weird night. There were times where he looked very sad. There were times where he looked... What a weird night, guys. What a weird night. He's making an anime to boost Dad's popularity cyberpunk-like. Dad VR with a battle pass. On one hand, on a human level, I empathize. Okay, it's not an easy position to be in. You're thrust into a leadership position. You're thrust into this, like, into a kind of a celebrity public life, right? You have all these shithead gamers that are just kind of decrying your every decision, right? It's not easy to be this guy. But also, he has not made it easy to like him. He's made some disastrous calls, right? He's the CEO of a company, he's fine. I'm just saying on a human level, right? I'm also a business owner, okay? And if my business experienced catastrophic success, I guarantee I would make the wrong decisions under pressure, okay? His ego screwed him. Made his own bed, now he needs to sleep in it. Yes, Steve man, I agree. Yes. I'm just trying to, like, I'm trying to keep myself just, you know, it's so easy to rag on this guy, right? People criticizing your every cup sip, exactly. Jokes aside, that hair sheen is on point. The Koreans, they got their beauty routines, right? They've got their beauty routines. They've got good products there. I hope he does well. If my business was stolen from $1 billion company, I would also make bad decisions. Would be good for Dad. What would you do if you woke up with 5 million subscribers and people kept asking you to upload more and more? Exactly, right? Exactly. Catastrophic success. I'd like to think I would do okay. Real talk? I've got the chops. I could handle it. And there's a bit of hubris and ego there too, right? Maybe we're not that dissimilar. We're not that dissimilar. Anyway. I was expecting a little more... how do I say? Substance? I was expecting it to be a little more granular. I was expecting it to be kind of like, you know, more of kind of a reveal, I guess. But really they're saying that we're slowing down production because we want things to be more stable. And so it was just strange. It was just strange. Even the big announcement wasn't really a big announcement. Hey, he's moving on, but he's also staying here. He's moving on, he's also staying put, right? Very strange. Anyway, guys, I mean, is there anything else to say? Is there anywhere else to go? That's all I ever wanted. Before ice map, before water map, I wanted some stability in the game to improve. Well, it sounds like, you know, we've got our wish, right? Can we go home? Bed, go to bed. Better call Paul. Nothing of substance in the whole dev talk. Was there anything of substance? Wipe timing? Like, was there anything worth kind of getting out of bed for? Big old nothing burger. A wipe sooner than later. I need sleep. Okay, Luke. Guys. We're here. If they put up the smoke signal, they say we're having a devcast, we're here, right? You know what? Make it worth our time. Make it worth our time. And I'm not sure if this was worth our time. I'm not sure. Happy Thursday. We're going to keep going with Stone Shard. Stone Shard, I think on Monday. If I die, I die. We're going to keep going with it. This game is going to keep chugging along, right? Don't forget the massive change of being able to change character names potentially in the future. Grayson's list was greater than... This is true. Clippy, yes. Grayson did a better job of covering more ground and surfacing community questions than One Pig did recently, right? Agree. Grayson was better than One Peg. Yes. Agree. But I don't think that was not worth a devcast. Okay, dudes. We'll leave it there. Can we get one more clap for Clippy? It's so nice. Claps for Clippy, please. Clippy making time to be with us. Thank you, Clippy. Thanks to everyone for showing up, right? We heard the call of the devcast. We say we'll stream it. You guys showed up. We listened intently. There wasn't that much to make fun of because, you know, we're just trying to listen. So, appreciate you guys. Windows Clippy? You know it. Clippy's the GOAT, guys. It was a lot of fun. Get some rest. We'll see you around Discord this weekend. We'll see you for a stream on Monday. Here we go. Goodbye song. Have a great weekend, guys. Have a great rest. Good night, Luke. Good night, everybody. Have a great night, Luke. One more Bingus for the road. Okay? I'll leave you with Bingus. Bye, guys. Are you ready? Goodbye. Good night, Bingus. Let's say goodbye, Bingus. Bingoid. Good night, Bingus. Good night, Binguses. Bye.